Hello and welcome to this edition of the Championship Talk podcast. We normally are quite a satire-inspired podcast, but we want to start off by just mentioning the sad, tragic events that happened at Leicester City's King Power Stadium after their match. The owner tragically passed away in a helicopter accident just outside the stadium. Thomas, you've got a few bits that you want to read about this because I think this is quite a tragic turn of events, and as news unfolded, a lot of news outlets were reporting on this, and it's been announced that the Leicester City owner tragically has passed away. You've just got a few bits that you just want to read.
Yeah, unfortunately the accident happened, as we said, after their game on Saturday against West Ham, went at a 1-1 draw at the King Power Stadium. The helicopter that always lands in the centre circle to take away the owner and his party, shall we say, come to pick him up and left. Moments later, ran into difficulty. There's a lot of speculation about the cause of that. That'll be left to the investigators. We shan't speculate on that. But the helicopter carrying Vichai Srivandana Nasara Sunakmi, Kavrapon Punpare, Eric Swaffer and his partner Isabella Rosa Leshevich come down in a area outside the King Power Stadium, and all 5 died as a result. I know in the papers today they were saying that the action of the pilot probably saved more lives as well. That could have been an untold disaster, still a disaster, because 5 innocent people have lost their lives in horrific circumstances. This is a pain shared by everybody in football, because the chairman and owner of Leicester City made smaller clubs realise that they can achieve the impossible dream and actually win the Premiership, and he's done so in the space of 5 or 6 years. He's been marvellous to the community of Leicester in large, donating money to hospitals and to the universities. He's been very kind to the fans, buying them beer on his birthday and hot dogs and scarves. He's paid for season tickets for certain supporters as well. It's just an untold tragedy, and there's nothing we can say that will make it any less painful for those involved.
No, and it is a tragic end to the story that is the Leicester City Premier League win. As I say, he bought the club when Leicester were in they were in the bottom half of the Championship at the time. He turned around their fortunes, and they went on to be the year they won the title. They were 5,000 to 1 to win the title that year, which we talk about betting a lot. That's no chance territory. You can go into bookies and get odds like that on random things. The bookies have not got anything, not get any say over, and you probably wouldn't get 5,000.
The odds. I don't really want to talk about stuff that's not serious at the moment for this, but the odds of aliens landing on Earth are less than 5,000.
That just gives you an idea of the scale of the accomplishment that happened that season. Everyone thought Claudio Ranieri's team were going to go down, and he backed Claudio Ranieri. We gave him all the players he wanted. It wasn't just the money he invested, because we've seen a lot of owners invest a lot of money into clubs and it just get frittered away. QPR being one example where a rich owner just spends a lot of money. This was the infrastructure he put in the club and the legacy that he's now undoubtedly leaving behind. The structure of the football club was changed from top to bottom, and this is a sad end to what was the fairy tale story that will probably never be repeated again, which is incredibly sad. So our thoughts go out to everyone involved with Leicester City Football Club, because it's a tragic set of events. Unfortunately, it wasn't the only tragic event that happened. BT Sport pundit Glenn Hoddle was also rushed to hospital shortly before he was due to go on air with a suspected heart attack. He's in a critical condition. I know you've got some more bits to read on that.
Yeah, he was at BT Sport. There is a video of him playing a sort of keepy-uppy game. There is a term for it, but I haven't got it noted down, with Paul Ince just before they presented him with a 61st birthday cake, which I know the picture made the papers. He was all smiles before the incident. There were no signs that was coming on. It just came on all of a sudden. Very, very fortunate that there was someone there who knew how to use a defibrillator.
Apparently it was a cameraman.
Yes, a cameraman there. I've got the name, Simon Daniels, who was a member of the production crew. He provided first aid, give him mouth to mouth, and used the defibrillator, and may well be the reason why Glenn Hoddle is in hospital in a serious condition rather than being dead right now, to be quite honest with you. Glenn Hoddle, I will say, some of the comments I read on Facebook were quite disgusting towards him. He said what he said in the past. He lost his job for it. He was an excellent player. Having not supported Tottenham or being around in the 80s, we don't really appreciate how good he was, but everyone of an age who I've talked to over the last couple of days have said how much of a genius he is.
I mean, we mentioned about obviously the comments he made as England manager. Actually, as England manager, he was a very good England manager, and I think that the teams he had and managed could have gone on to do some fantastic and truly memorable things, and he was just unlucky on a couple of occasions.
Well, if you go back far enough, he first was player manager of Swindon, and he took them up to the Premiership via the playoffs. He left before he could play in the Premiership. He was player manager with Swindon. He went to Chelsea to become player manager there a couple of years, stabilised that club, brought Ruud Gullit. Started off,
I remember that,
arguably started off the continental trend that Chelsea have followed ever since. He was given the England job at a relatively young age, taken over from Terry Venables, a hard act to follow. He was England were unfortunate to miss out on penalties against Argentina in World Cup '98. In qualifying for Euro 2000, he came out with some comments that we shall not repeat regarding his beliefs. He lost his job over it, which some say was harsh, but others say was justified. You can't say them things, either or. I'm not to judge that. He got himself back into club management, done a good job stabilising Southampton, I believe was his immediate job after England. Took over from Dave Jones when Dave Jones was going on trial for something he was falsely accused of. He then went on to Spurs in acrimonious circumstances, wasn't really a success there. Ended up at Wolves, didn't really do a lot there, been out of management since, has been a TV pundit. He is ridiculed for his faith with Eileen Jury, the faith healer, for World Cup '98 and all the jokes that ex-players have said about that and things like that. The Jasper Carrott joke, but he's heard Glenn Hoddle's found God, that must have been a hell of a pass. He's been ridiculed for ages and ages over his beliefs, but he's a thoroughly decent bloke, and the football community again are rallying round and hoping that someone who was a sheer visionary as an England manager, revolutionised tactics, was way ahead of his time as a manager.
I think the best thing that I've heard is he's got an academy in Spain where players that fall out of academies, that you got two routes into professional football. You either work your way out through the leagues, a la Jamie Vardy, or you are academy prospects. You have a life of luxury from the age of 12, 13, and then the club at 19 decides we don't want you no more. Glenn Hoddle set up an academy for these type of players that don't know how to get back into football, perhaps to make them to put their name out there really, so that they can get back into football. And I know that's the academy he's been working on with. He's had that academy for a number of years now, and that just shows the kind of the passion he has for football, but also the understanding of how hard it is for these young lads that have got very little life experience and in terms of making the right decisions, and he's there to help them do that. So our thoughts go out to Glenn Hoddle and his family. As I say, we do hope he makes a speedy recovery. So we are now going to move on to the main show, and we've got some football related news articles. We are going to try and keep with a common theme of being light-hearted. So we don't want that to distract from the sad events that happen, but we do hope to kind of make the rest of the podcast certainly we'll focus on the football and the comical elements of what's happened in the football, and try and take away from what's try and detract from what happened off the pitch. So the first real news article that I want to really discuss that relates directly to football is FIFA's plans to rechange the Club World Cup. It's a current format. It runs every 2 years, and the winner of the Champions League plays the winner of the Champions League in Asia, plays the winner of the CONCACAF, and basically it's the Champions League winners from across the world. They want to make this a yearly event, and they want this to be I'll just get the exact details of what they want to do. They want to make this a 24-team competition. The actual final decision has been delayed till March. I know UEFA are slightly against this because obviously it will detract from their premier competition, which is the Champions League. It'll obviously add additional fixtures to these elite clubs. 24 teams. Also, you would highlight that means that does impact some of the seasons, because it does. 24 teams, you divide that across the number of federations across the world. That means that there will be UEFA teams that are more than just one team potentially playing in this competition. There will be more than one UEFA team most certainly playing this competition, given the draw of those leagues. They also want to make with the success of the Nations League, which I will confess has got me more into international football. I've certainly been slightly more interested than I would be with boring friendlies. I couldn't even tell you the results of some of them. They want to make a World Nations League using a similar format, which again UEFA are a bit slightly against, because it would mean that national teams have a slightly heavier fixture list, and the dates and things are going to be thrashed out. So I kind of want to get your opinion on this, because we talked earlier and we joked around it won't be long before there's a Super Cup. We joked, you being a Forest fan, that the Champions League in its guise isn't the European Cup that it used to be. I'm going to guess I know your opinion on this, but I shall let you have your say.
No, well, the idea in principle is not really a bad one, but that's a big but. Where's it going to fit in? Where's it honestly going to fit in? Is this going to impact on the FA Cup and the League Cup? Because we need to get the bigger teams playing these games. Are the bigger teams going to be excused from the cup competitions to go and play this, while the rest of the riff-raff, so to speak, are going to be able to...
An interesting point, given the fact that teams that finish in the top 7 or 8 in the Premier League don't have to go into round 4 of the League Cup. So currently at present there always is that element. We've already got the precedent set by Manchester United when in the 1990 to 2000 season they missed the FA Cup.
Yeah, and the team got in as lucky losers, didn't they?
Yep.
The team who lost in the second round got through to the third round for a lucky draw. Now, I just can't see, because players and managers, etc., going for a winter break.
Yes.
They really want the winter break in this country, as they do in most other countries in Europe and quite possibly around the world without doing research. So if they want that, they've got to cram even more fixtures into a more condensed football and calendar. Are they going to do away with international? They've only just come up with the UEFA Nations League, so they're not going to want to do away with that. Are they going to do away with qualification for these tournaments and base it on Nations League results solely? Are they going to lessen the amount of teams in the Premier Leagues around sort of Europe and the world, so there's less match days?
I will add a caveat that UEFA are stringently against this, and they were threatening to walk out of FIFA, which won't happen, let's be perfectly honest. But UEFA are clearly against this, and let's be honest, who really wants to see Real Madrid or Barcelona or Liverpool or Man City travel halfway around the world to thump some team in Asia that are not on their level? And that sounds absolutely derogatory to other leagues and other nations. You look at the standard of football, you look at the Oceanic League and the kind of the A League, and they're not going to be able to compete. It's going to be David against Goliath.
I can see the appeal in it, though. I can, because we hear about these teams. That's the romanticism of football. Most of these Brazilian players who we see coming into Europe will come from teams like Flamengo and Cruzeiro and Sao Paulo and Fluminense or whoever they are. So it's nice to see teams like that up against the creme de la creme of European teams, and that may well be able to help these South American teams keep their younger talent for longer, to develop better maybe, which may benefit their international side rather than coming and playing bit parts in Europe for a couple of years before breaking through.
It is fair to say these nations do have a predominantly homegrown element to their squads. So you're right, these teams do have more domestic based players than certainly most European leagues.
So yeah, I can see pros and I can see cons. The World Club Cup or whatever it's called at the minute doesn't even appeal to me. I couldn't even tell you who's won one of the last 10 competitions. I'd imagine Barcelona and Real Madrid have won quite a few of the last 10.
And do you know what? You've just validated FIFA's argument. That's exactly FIFA's argument, is that because it isn't a competition that's held every year at a set time of the year, that is precisely why they want to make it a yearly thing, because you couldn't even tell me whether it was going to be played this year or it was played last year.
Yeah, but
I think that's
I think as a yearly tournament, that's not feasible. Where are they going to squeeze it in? The only way they can squeeze it in is in the summer. And every 2 years in Europe, we've got the European Championships and the World Cup. And that's not to say that on top of that, In January, we have the African Cup of Nations.
We do.
And other times of the year, we have the CONCACAF Gold Cup, I think it is, for teams in for North America and the Caribbean.
And the Caribbean, yeah.
Yeah, you'll have the... I'm thinking on my feet now.
What's the thing that Sun Ji Park just played in? Not Sun Ji Park, Ki Sung Young, or
the Asian Games.
Yeah, the one that got him out of the...
being in the army in Korea, in South Korea, I might say. I'm trying to think of the South American version now. That's gone completely out.
But they all have their own version, don't they?
The Copa Libertadores, I think it is. Is that the club one or the international one? One of the two. But they have their own. Yeah, but they've got their own international version of it as well. So adding more fixtures onto this, I just can't see where it's going to add in, unless FIFA have got the power to add another month to the calendar and have a 13-month year.
Sepp Blatter probably would have tried it. Anyway, I'm gonna put my finance head on, right, and I'll picture this. This is how it's been pitched to FIFA, which is why they're trying to sell it to UEFA. So we have Brazil, where they are Neymar mad. Mm-hmm. PSG are going to play the local team, Corinthians. Pick a team. You can pick any team in Sao Paulo or whatever. Barcelona are coming to town. PSG are coming to town. The eyes on the product in those nations become huge. That's how they're going to pitch it to UEFA. That's how they're going to pitch it to the clubs. They're going to say, right, you do these tours in the pre-season. Let's make these tours mean something. And all of a sudden, your brand exposure becomes worldwide. And this is a revenue stream. And ultimately, as sad as we like to admit it, this game that's played on grassy fields in every Sunday league and every Saturday is a global branded product that is possibly one of the biggest money-making products that there currently is at the moment, and money will talk. So this will happen. I have no doubt about that.
So if that's going to happen as a pre-season thing, pre-season game, well, you argue that could be in pre-season. So pre-season games that are used to train and get you ready for the proper season are going to be used as competitive games. So they're playing competitive football.
You scrap your pre-season tournaments, your end-of-season tournaments that they now go on. You scrap those. You lengthen the length of the season that would incorporate that time.
But then the argument is that these players and clubs and officials are saying that seasons are too long.
They are.
So by getting rid of pre-season and end-of-season tours and adding a competitive tournament into the mix is going to give you more competitive games, more games to burn out, more games to get players injured. That's not going to work.
I'm in agree with you. I'm literally just playing devil's advocate.
And from another point of view, UEFA would be against it, because what have they got to benefit if our number one team, which would probably be Barcelona or Manchester City at the minute, or Paris Saint-Germain, one of 10 you could name arguably, go and play a Independiente from Argentina and lose? How is that going to make UEFA look? What if they played a team from Asia, like Nagoya Grampus 8, to say that because that's who Arsene Wenger used to manage, I don't even know if they exist anymore. But they play a team from Japan or Perth Glory, or the team that Usain Bolt's playing for now, and they go and get a fluke 1-0 win over them. How is that going to make these teams
last
look?
Christmas, in their Christmas break, went all the way to Dubai and played 3 teams in Dubai.
Yeah, but Real Madrid couldn't even beat Great Yarmouth Town the way they're going at the minute.
Very true, but what I'm saying is the clubs are already creating these games. The clubs themselves are already creating these games.
Yeah,
they're going on these Asian tournaments and stuff like that.
Yeah, but they can go over there half cooked, half arsed, and still win. They treat it as a holiday when they've got this pressure on and the sponsors want them playing. I mean, you get back to the situation where the rumour is that Ronaldo was forced to play in the World Cup final of 1998 because Nike wanted him to play. So in these pre-season tournaments, if you've got Neymar with a little niggle, they go, oh no, because we're playing a team from Argentina, we really want you to play to help the brand over in South America. And then he's ended up sort of buggered for the next 6 months. We can't play in Liga and the Champions League and play for Brazil in qualifiers and things like that. The impact and the risk is too huge.
And I would counter that with they were going to earn more money by doing a tournament in South America than they are going to be playing to lose in Ligue 1.
Yeah, I see the money point of
and the reason I say that is because you look at the League Cup and we look at the attendances for the Carabao Cup that is coming up, and bear in mind we're into quarterfinals now? Fourth round. Right, so we look at the attendances, and then you look at, okay, so let's not have any of our star players playing that. Let's have our star players playing in some stupid competition halfway around the world that's going to sell millions of shirts. It's going to get massive brand exposure, and ultimately that is the revenue stream. Bigger TV rights for that, and bigger slice of that pie for the clubs.
I totally get that, and I totally why that's an intriguing idea from the financial point of view. As a neutral, I'd love to see some of these teams come up against each other. I'd love to see what all the fuss about Boca Juniors is. I've heard the name, but couldn't tell you anything about their history. And teams from all over the world, even Africa, I haven't even touched on African club teams. I'm sure there are good club teams out there, like Zamalek from Egypt. They're quite good. Always hear about them, and Raja Casablanca always seem to be in these competitions. But my argument is, and I'm dead against the winter break, because part of the tradition in football is playing 5 games over Christmas and New Year. That's what being a football fan's all about over Christmas.
Personally doing this podcast,
you can't get enough of it. Yeah, that's going to kill us over Christmas and New Year. But that's what football's all about. That's what football's all about to us. They done it in the 70s. Okay, it wasn't as scientific back then, and they didn't argue. They just got on with it. Some of them played 5 games in a week. All 90 sort of minutes. They're arguing they want a 2-3 week winter break to chill out and unwind. But they're adding more competitive games to their calendar.
And you say about the chill out and the winter breaks, when you look at Bayern Munich, you look at Real Madrid, Barcelona. I remember, I think Xabi got injured in one of these Asian tournaments where they had a winter break and they went out to these hot countries. I mean, Spain's hot enough as it is.
Right, yeah, but
and played in these non-competitive games. And actually, you're probably likely to get more injured in a non-competitive game, half-arsing it. And I just think this is an intriguing idea. I personally don't like it, but when I look from the finances point of view, it's going to happen. No one would have thought the Premier League was going to break away when it did. It happened. No one would have thought the Champions League was going to expand to the size it did. It's happened. And ultimately, they're looking at bigger and better ways to generate more money. And it is going to be this. And I can't see that it's not going to be this. Whether it be this year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever years down the line, it's going to be this. They've been talking about Super League for donkey's years. I just think this will happen. Now, obviously, we're a championship podcast.
Yeah. When you talked about this, you didn't think we'd be talking about it for 15 minutes, did you?
Right. No, we're a championship podcast because the reality is this has an impact on our league, because the further down the pyramid we go, the further away from that elite group of the teams you go, the less relevant you are. And you add another Super League on top, so that no one's going to be clamouring to get in the Champions League. Everyone will want to be in this World Club Cup. So suddenly the Championship has less importance because it's not the goal, it's not the prize. Just like the UEFA Cup has less importance than it did 15, 20 years ago.
It's not even called the UEFA Cup anymore, that's why.
No, I'm calling it the UEFA Cup. Everyone knows what I mean. It has less importance and less significance because of the changes the changes every 5 minutes to the format, but ultimately the fact it's fallen further down the pyramid. The Cup Winners' Cup. I mean, when Arsenal won the Cup Winners' Cup, that was a cup worth winning. That was a cup worth winning. The Champions League becomes such a big behemoth that they got rid of the Cup Winners' Cup.
But UEFA a couple of weeks ago we're talking about bringing a third club competition back. Yeah, so if that comes into fruition and then you get this crammed on top of it, I can't see how that can. I can't see. To end my argument, and I'm going to remain silent. You can waffle on for another 20 minutes if you want to yourself. I can't see, basically, how they can do this competition, this World Club Cup, without it impacting on the Champions League, the Europa League, and a potential third club competition. Something has got to give.
No, I agree with you.
End of. Unless these teams withdraw and permanently play as a pool of 32 teams in the Champions League, and then go and play a World Club Cup, which is a bit, well, maybe not beyond the realms of possibility. But if that is not going to happen, I can't see there being these many competitions to play.
Do you know, this is my last thoughts on this. This would already have happened if it weren't for the time zone TV rights issue problem. Let's be honest, there's been some World Cups that were absolutely great World Cups, but because of the time difference, has been, I watched half the games, and the one that springs to mind was Japan and South Korea.
I love that World Cup.
That was so good, but the time...
Give me a reason to go up at 6:30 in the morning to watch Ireland against Cameroon or something. That was brilliant.
And it was such a good World Cup, but the time difference really ruined it. And I think that ultimately the World Club Cup would have the same problem. So that's the one thing I think that could hold it back. And obviously you're selling TV rights. Who wants to... Let's be honest, you don't really want Arsenal against Boca Juniors clashing with Jeremy Kyle, do you?
You can always record Jeremy Kyle.
No, to be honest, if you see Mesut Ozil walk off the pitch, it was a bit like Jeremy Kyle. Anyway, so moving on, there was also another managerial sacking, which this one won't have come as any surprise to any other Ipswich Town fans.
Bloody hell, we're back to the Championship, are we?
We are back to the Championship. That would come no surprise. Paul Hurst. They finally jettisoned him. He, unfortunately, I think he was a victim of he recruited too many players, didn't know what his starting 11 was, tried to implement too many ideas too quickly after an era of relative stability under Mick McCarthy. I mean, many Ipswich fans are going to moan that they were finishing 9th and 10th every season. Good luck to you. You're going to get relegated. And how'd you like that in League One? And obviously they've recruited a new boss, and I think he was rumoured before even Paul Hurst got the sack, which I think is sad. So it obviously cleared. Marcus Evans was potentially shopping around beforehand. You've got some bits on Paul Lambert.
I've got some bits on Paul Hurst as well. He only won one of his 14 games since his appointment in May. He
as a Forest manager, you've had worse managers, isn't it?
Well, that's long. That would be a long termer for us over the last few years.
Golf comes to mind.
The golfing class is huge, basically, because he was the manager of Grimsby and Shrewsbury before this. He's still relatively young for a manager, so hopefully he'll bounce back, maybe come back at a lower level and come back up again at 44. They had to wait till October for his first and only win. That says league win in my notes, but they lost against Exeter in the Carabao Cup first round, so they didn't even win that. They lost on the Wednesday against Leeds, which we'll talk about in a minute, hopefully. That was the 7th defeat of his reign. That was his final match. Marcus Evans said, "I've decided that it is in the best interests of the football club that we appoint a new manager to take us forward. Paul's arrival here in the summer was welcomed by us all, and we worked tirelessly to support him fully with his plans of player recruitment, training methodology, and backroom staff. But unfortunately, those plans haven't turned into positive results, which is why I've had to take this decision today." Have to mention his assistant Chris Doig, ex-Nottingham Forest centre-back, also played for Northampton, has also left the club. It says here, but Brian Klug took over for the game on Saturday. We'll cover that anyway. The fans turned on Mick McCarthy, who was the longest-serving manager in the Championship at the time.
By a good way as well.
5.5 years he was at Ipswich. Ipswich never finished lower than 16th under him, but the relationship with some fans become strained towards the end of his tenure because McCarthy labelled them numbskulls. I can't really say any more than that.
Quite tame for him.
And then, obviously, a bit hamstrung because the club's highest scorers from last season, Waghorn, Garner, Chilhina and McGoldrick, all left and were replaced with players from lower leagues, and they were unable to adapt quick enough to save Hurst's job. Then the rumours were on Friday, but they were waiting until Saturday due to the funeral of club legend Kevin Beattie. They didn't announce until Saturday that Paul Lambert was their manager, the 49-year-old. Now, this is what gets me. We're led to believe that Paul Lambert chose to leave Stoke at the end of the season because he didn't want to come and manage in the Championship.
That was what I'd heard.
That's what we were led to believe, and he has now taken on a job at Ipswich. They are 5 points away from safety as we speak.
Conceded 25 goals in 15 games.
Not good. But he is the first man to manage both Norwich and Ipswich, so a little bit there for Lambert to take to his heart. He's brung in his assistant Stuart Taylor, and Matt Gill, ex-player he brung to Norwich and left Norwich on the 23s to be part of his backroom staff. His exact words are, "I can't wait to get going, and I'll be using all my experience and give everything I've got for Ipswich Town. I know about the history of the club, what a fantastic football club it is, and I'm proud to be the manager here." I'm sure as his stock statement for everything, he just replaced Ipswich with Norwich and Blackburn and Wolves and with all the success he had at all them teams. Lambert took Norwich to the Premier League in 2011 following back-to-back promotions and becomes the first man, as I've said, to manage both sides. He won 2 of his 15 games in charge of Stoke after replacing Mark Hughes in January, although as a player he won the Champions League with Borussia Dortmund in 1997 and 4 Scottish titles with Celtic, as well as winning 40 caps for Scotland.
Again,
some of the other clubs he's managed, he took Wickham to the League Cup semi-finals, I believe.
He did, actually. I think he did, yeah.
That was his first job before he went on to Colchester and Norwich after Colchester beat them 7-1 at home. Then Blackburn and Wolves. Marcus Evans said, "He made it clear from our first conversation that he would relish the opportunity to come here." So, yeah, that's the underhandedness of football. You can't tell me they sacked Paul Hurst on the Thursday and based on one conversation they decided Paul Lambert was their man on the Friday. They had him lined up before.
I think Paul Lambert's the right appointment. However, they've done it 15 games too late. He should have been their appointment early in the season. I do wonder if, to be honest, the Ipswich Town fans, and we talk about whether they're going to give him any time. The Ipswich Town fans this season have just given up. The Ipswich Town fans, unfortunately, they've had to watch 15 games of some of the worst football I think that stadium, Portman Road, has ever seen. And the Ipswich Town fans have literally just... The apathy is rife. They're not even been booed off anymore.
The fans can't be bothered. They have left before the end of
They have. And I think that's the sad state of affairs. I make no bones about it. If Paul Lambert keeps Ipswich up, that'll be one of his biggest accomplishments I think he's ever done. And I'll put that up there with his Champions League win. I just don't see, with this squad of players, Ipswich getting out of the mess they're in. When I look at the teams around them are better organised, better equipped to deal with this league, and I think Ipswich Town the fans have made a terrible mistake in handing Mick McCarthy out. I go back to when Alan Kirbishley was sort of hounded out at Charlton Athletic when Charlton finished 7th every year. They didn't want him in there. They wanted success, and now look where they are. So I think this is going to be a similar thing. I hope I'm wrong, because, as I say, Ipswich Town fans are very loyal. They've had a lot of rubbish in the years, and I just think this is quite going to be quite a challenging season for Paul Lambert.
Can I just add the last thing I just want to make on this point is it'll show how ambitious and loyal to the club that Marcus Evans is, because the squad that Paul Lambert has inherited, with exception of 2 or 3 players, I'm not going to single them out, is not good enough, basically. So he's now got to back up his judgment in getting Lambert in, and has got to dig deep within the rules of financial fair play, obviously, to try and keep Ipswich up. It's going to take a lot. It's still doable. There's still enough games. There's 31 games.
There's enough games.
So they could easily make the playoff push the way this season, and the way this season's been, and the Championship is in general. But it's going to take a Herculean effort. I mean, they've got to win a couple of games without the other teams around them picking up points to even
look at the teams around them. Look at the teams around them: Hull, Reading, Rotherham, Preston, Bolton. All of them, I'd say, have got better squads than Ipswich.
And so far they've shown a hell of a lot more fight. So Lambert, anyone who saw his Norwich team play can't really say there wasn't fight there. But when you watch when he went to Aston Villa, and he was at Blackburn and Wolves and Stoke.
See, I again think at Villa he wasn't given look where Villa are now.
No,
but we did. I don't think he was given that.
I think he went there too soon. He could have done a lot better. He could have maybe kept with Norwich a little bit longer than what he did, and build up his reputation a bit more, and could have probably got a better job than Villa, who were a lesser club than Norwich at the time. Bigger in name, but in fortunes lesser. And yeah, that was a terminal decline for Aston Villa, and he joined at an unfortunate time. But since then, he's not really been inspiring. And can you say going to Wolves with the resources they had at the time? Yeah,
that was a strange one. Blackburn as well. That was weird. Yeah. That was very strange. So it's going to be interesting. I do think if they'd have recruited him in the summer and given him the right money, I think he would have done something for him. I think now he's got to wait till January to recruit. He's going to, as you say, he's going to have the hamstring of the fact that the squad he's got was built by another person, and
not necessarily players he'd have either. So he may he can't sell them on either, because you can only play for so many clubs in one season, can't you?
So we're going to move on to the Wednesday night game fixtures. We're going to start with Bristol City 1, Hull City 0. 19,000 at Ashton Gate. What saw this game? So early on, there was a great opportunity from Hull and a great save by O'Leary, who I actually think had a really good game.
He's certainly shown he's got the X factor, isn't he, at the minute?
Yeah, okay. Bristol City forced a really good save from Marshall, who I actually think has been one of the better goalkeepers in the league. Then there was a great overhead kick from Burke. Did you see this?
No. I'll be honest.
This was fantastic for a centre-back. Bramhill then hits the post. There was another amazing one-handed save from Marshall, and he would have seen it really late. Then on 90 minutes, Famara header. I really feel the whole defenders. He nearly kept this out, and he ends in the goal with the ball. Did you see this?
I did, yeah.
It was just really, just sums up whole season. You know, the player on the line was there. He'd sprinted back to get there. Goes to clear the ball, off balance. Him and the ball go in the back of the net. Bristol City 1-0. I just felt that really was so sad. I don't know, it just kind of felt really sad for that one. In terms of possession though and shots, it was pretty much one-way traffic. Bristol City 59%, 17 shots 17 shots for Bristol City, 7 on target, 7 corners. To Hull's 13 shots, 2 on target and 7 corners. It's just, as I say, this wasn't a trouncing from Hull, and they could quite easily have got a point with a little bit of luck.
Yeah, that was reflected in what Nigel Atkins said. I'll just read them through. I'll sum up very quickly. Lee Johnson said, I'll take late goals. They talk about Fergie time. Maybe I will call it Jono time from now on. The substitutes made a really good difference in terms of energy they brought and the willingness to get in behind. Hull were on the ropes during the second period in which we scored. Hull's manager Nigel Atkins told the Yorkshire Post, I am not hiding from where we are in the table, and I understand that it will be highlighted by the fans and media. We talked about this in the last podcast, didn't we? Yep. But if we keep doing the same things, our position will improve. The supporters who travelled saw a committed display, and we just need to take our chances. So
I'm with him on that. Alright, Leeds 2, Ipswich 0, and this is the game that ultimately got Paul Hurst the sack. 29,000 at Ellen Road. We predicted a Leeds win, and they duly delivered. There was a low cross early on from Alioski, produced a good save from Biakowski. Then on 22 minutes, Carl Melroof scored a header from a Pablo Hernandez. And the only thing I've put in this, I haven't even summed the goal up, is they have missed these two players. There's no two ways about it. Kamal Roof, Pablo Hernandez. Kamal Roof has a good hand in some of the goals. We should go on to that in a bit. And I just put the keeper probably should have done better. Biakowski, I mean, he's not been the greatest a keeper. They've got two really...
No, but have you noticed how Mr. Gherkin had been dropped after his mishap on Saturday?
It's almost like he was going one game each.
Yeah.
It was pretty much like you have one, we have one.
Two goalkeepers very, very low on confidence.
If you're playing in goal for Ipswich Town, right, you're going to have a lot to do. You might need a rest.
Yeah, well, you're in a position where you could make 50 saves in a game and still know you're going to be on the losing side. That must be very depressing, being between the sticks.
Cooper was unlucky not to give away a penalty for and Ipswich Town were very unlucky there. Did you see that? Did you make notes on that one?
No.
No, okay.
I was watching one game and one game only on Wednesday, mate.
And then Cooper, on 66 minutes, a right-footed shot again from Pablo Hernandez. A great goal, worked from a short corner, edge of the box, and just curled in. That was a great goal. That was from Liam Cooper.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I have seen the goals. To be fair. Yeah.
Then Alioski was close, hits the inside of the post. Then a great save from Biakowski, and he actually, to be honest, he kept the score down.
Yeah, he did. He made some good saves. That one was from Adam Forshaw, wasn't it?
That was, and then the other notes I've got on this game where Ipswich Town are awful. And and all I'm echoing is exactly what Ipswich Town fans have been telling me.
You just got to look at the stats and you'll see, wouldn't you, as well?
Ready for those? 65% possession to Leeds, 18 shots, 5 on target, 15 corners. To Ipswich Town's 3 shots, 2 on target, no corners. And 1 sacked Paul Hurst. Did you have what Paul Hurst said after the game in his exit interview?
Yeah, well, he said, we are going to need every single player to stick together and be ready for some battles that are ahead. All I will do is continue to go about the job until I hear differently. Realistically, if nothing's said, I will get on with it. If something's said, we'll deal with that message, whatever it is. So he must have known.
Yeah, I think he knew. To be given this game as you win this or you get sacked would have been a bit unfair, but I think the writing was on the wall. I think he knew the players hadn't responded to what he was trying to do. Preston North End 4, Brentford 3. This is,
as I like to refer to it, Paul's coupon buster.
It was my coupon buster. No, I had Preston to win this. My coupon buster was West Brom. All the other games I picked were right. Unfortunately, West Brom let me down dramatically, but we'll go into that in a second. 5 minutes, Alan Brown, left-footed shot, great pass and move football, and then a lucky deflection. This was good pass and move, and then it's never going to be on any amazing goals because it was a deflected shot.
They all can.
Bentley rushing out. Your goalkeeper, he's rushing out, and I get he's turning his face because he doesn't want to get smashed in the face with the ball, but him turning his face means that he doesn't quite realise the ball is rolling slowly underneath his legs.
That's just that's an instinctive thing. You can't teach that out of yourself. That is an instinctive thing.
There are some goalkeepers that have always just kind of dived out. Peter Schmeichel.
Mental that Peter Schmeichel was the revolutionary in that because he used to play handball before he played football, so he used to do he was the revolutionary, the star.
The handball, that's the really heavy ball that's about a size 2?
No, that's not heavy, I don't think. Have you never seen handball?
Yeah, I just thought
We'll do a podcast. We'll do a bonus podcast at Christmas about handball.
God, it's going to be Christmas by the time we finish this one.
That's a lovely, lovely game to watch, actually. That's good. That's one of the...
It's very fast paced.
Yeah, that's a good game.
I just think, obviously, the ball kind of rolled very slowly underneath Bentley's legs. I just think if he hadn't taken his eyes off the ball just at that split second, he probably saves this with his legs. But to be honest, the move was so good, it probably deserved a goal. On 12 minutes, Callum Robinson, who I think has been fantastic this season, and probably shouldn't be playing for a team that's currently sitting 20th. Great close control. He hit a low shot, and he's played well all season.
That was a lovely half volley.
That was a nice little half volley. Then Thomas,
Barkhausen.
Yep. On 23 minutes, a right-footed shot from a Lucas Nemecha free kick. Free kick inside the box, which is you don't see too often. I remember the old Alan Shearer goal.
Yes, I'll put that in there. That must have been a pass back or something.
Yeah, you'll never find out on Quest. They had more highlights on Edna.
No, we'll talk about that later.
Okay, but yeah, no, he passed. They're good. They work this well. However, he just thumps it against the defenders, and ultimately, when you've got that many players on the line,
that's
it's
what
bad.
You do, isn't it? Yeah, you have like everyone on the goal line, and the keeper used to be in front of the wall, didn't he?
He did, yeah. I remember the Alan Shearer one where he absolutely buries it top corner. I think it's so hard, no one was prepared to get in a place in the way of it. So that was 3-0 Preston. Then Brentford realised there was a game of football going on. Sergei Canos, who I actually thought played really well in this game, and actually in the next game plays really well as well. On 29 minutes, a right-footed shot from Mwepe. This was a great hit from outside the box, top corner. It was just fantastic.
Unstoppable.
It was unstoppable, and Maxwell had no chance. Then a great double save from Maxwell from Brentford. Did you see that double save he made? One with his legs and one with his arms.
Yes, I did. I've not made notes about it, but I can remember it now.
Ollie Watkins in on 56 minutes, a right-footed shot from a Canos pass. A low shot, hit the defender, then just out of reach of the goalkeeper. He was a bit unlucky there, I've got to say.
That come off the goal scorer, actually, didn't it? That come off Mr... What's his name again, Paul?
Barkhausen.
That's the one.
And that was 3-2. Then Preston made it 4-2 with Callum Robinson, another goal, right-footed shot. Just such poor defending. There's two defenders that had the chance to clear this. One nearly fell over, the other one miskicked it, and then low cross just goes to Robinson who buries it. It was just pointless defending. I mean, rubbish. Then Mwepe on 85 minutes, right foot, 6 yards out. Knocked down from the corner. This is where he's lethal. You know, he's going to score. I reckon he would score goals in any league. Just being areas.
He wasn't so lethal on Saturday, as we'll talk about later on.
No, we will go on to that. No, you're definitely right. In terms of possession, Preston North End 40%. You do expect to have less possession than playing Brentford's. 15 shots, 8 on target, 4 corners. Brentford 15 shots, 8 on target, 6 corners. So in terms of it, very, very even. A 4-3 game, weren't one for the purists, but certainly was one for the entertainment value. What did the manager say?
Oh, I've just got to read Alex Neil's word for word. That's actually making me laugh reading it back to myself. The last 4 games have been a big turning point for us in terms of points on the board. I would rather play effective football than attractive football, and I thought we did that tonight. There are a lot of pleasing things to take out of the game tonight. I think conceding 3 goals is naturally concerning, and it's something we need to work on. But, however, we scored 4 goals, and arguably we could have scored more. So basically the Kevin Keegan style of football. You score 6, we'll score 7. Doesn't really matter about defending.
Goal difference Preston North End, 24 scored, 29 conceded.
They're certainly entertaining. To paraphrase Barry Fry, I promise goals, but not at which end.
What did Mr. Frank have to say?
Thomas Frank said, you can't concede 4 goals and think you are going to win, but their first 3 shots on target brought 3 goals. After that, we didn't give up, we attacked well. There was more belief after the first goal. The first 20 minutes of the second half was good, but then we don't defend well enough again and it goes 4-2. 3 goals away from home should be more than enough to win 3 points, but we need to defend better in general. In this league, you need to be on it. Thank you, Mr. Frank.
Bolton 0. Nottingham Forest 3.
We're going to speak about this game in length.
Joe Lolly, 12 minutes, a right-footed shot, and I just put, wow, not just the amazing strike, but the build-up to this was fantastic.
Oh yeah, when we get the freedom to play, we are deadly and a match for anyone. easily.
Then Graben gets absolutely hacked down. I mean, that was GBH compared to the next penalty, which we'll go into in a bit. But he misses the penalty.
As we talked about live on air in the last
We
podcast.
did. We talked about live on it. Then Lewis Graben on 64 minutes, a right-footed shot from João Carvalho. More great passing play. Graben looks the player that I predicted he would be. I said he was going to be one of the signings of the season, and he scored some pretty smart goals.
Do you know, if he would have converted the penalties he's missed, he would be joint top scorer in this league by now?
That doesn't surprise me, actually. I mean, I've got to give him something. He's got the guts to then step up on 83 minutes after, I'm going to say, a dubious penalty.
Nah, the keeper rushed up. Come on, that's less dubious than that one that bloody Brentford had against Leeds the other week.
I just don't think there's a lot of contact. So I don't know. You look at the first one, he's absolutely scythed down. You look at this one.
Charged out and got him.
But he puts it the same corner.
That was the exact same penalty.
Yeah, exact same penalty. You've got to have so much confidence to put it in the exact same place where the goalkeeper's just saved your last one. He don't care, does he? He that was his second goal of the game, 3-0, and I think Forest were by far the better team.
Yeah, it could have been a lot more.
So that's 62% possession for Forest, 12 on target, 12 shots, 8 on target, 4 corners. Bolton they had 10 shots, 2 on target, 4 corners. The 13,000 at Macron Stadium in a midweek game.
University of Bolton Stadium.
The Reebok. So
Burnham Park.
And this is the sad thing. I want to mention this is Bolton were booed off. Mm-hmm. Now, Bolton last season were nowhere. They waited a good 20 games for the first away win. They currently sit 19th on 16 points, which is a very respectable position.
What more do they want?
No. Compared to where they would have expected to be at the start of the season.
Yeah, fair enough.
How dare you boo that team off? I'm sorry. They've played some good football this season, and they've gone on a shoestring budget. They were 40 minutes from going into from being wound up. How dare you boo a team that are 19th?
Any one of you supporters who still go to Burnham Park, you're at the wrong stadium, probably see more entertaining football because I got knocked down years ago. Any fans who still go to the Macron/Reebok/University of Bolton Stadium, get in touch with us on Twitter and tell Paul why you are justified in booing your team.
Yep, absolutely. At Championship TA1, because I'd love to hear you and have a nice, good argument. So what did Phil Parkinson have to say? And he didn't. To be fair, he's a man of real class. And he probably should just go, you lot shouldn't be with me, but go on.
At time, we were naive in some of the things we did. Other times, I've just copied and pasted from the BBC website, so good editing there. Other times, they have immensely quality. They spent £30 million and you could see the class they had. You can't say we play great. We come up against a team right on top of their game. I'm not going to read anymore. I got this one direct from the Nottingham Forest website, so word perfect. Aitor Karanka said, the second part of the first half we didn't play well and we allowed them to have the ball. When the other teams play that way, we aren't confident, but the second half was much better. We got the second goal and the third goal today, and that is very important. And about Lewis Graben, he put, I have thought about changing the penalty taker, but I am continuing to trust him. He is confident and he is scoring goals. If he is happy, I am happy.
Good relationship he's got with Lewis Graben.
To be fair, you've got to trust him. He's going to score goals.
He is, and that's what you bought him for.
He scored 8.
He was the second highest goal scorer in the Championship last season.
Yeah, he bagged goals for Sunderland, and look where they finished at the end of the season.
Absolutely, they were dross.
Was it 12 or 8 for Sunderland? He scored 12 for one and 8 for the other, didn't he? He was at Sunderland and Villa last season.
Yep, and I think he's the player that's... It's not just... Before the start of the season, he looked about 3 or 4... passes behind the rest of the team. He's now, the goal flicked over the top when he turns and volleys it. That's fantastic.
I think in terms of looking at it from a supporter's point of view, very quickly, Paul, because I know we've got other games to talk about in us Forest, the relationship he's forged with Carvalho as well.
Carvalho seems to know where he's going to run.
Although Carvalho was absolutely pathetic on Saturday, as we'll go into later on, but yeah, they seem to have a good understanding, probably why Lewis Graben didn't get on the score sheet as well, actually.
West Brom 1, Derby 4. Now, I
like to call it Paul's coupon bust.
This was my coupon bust. I did have a West Brom win, and I'll be honest, if this game went on for another 10 minutes, it probably would have been a West Brom win, because Derby looked nervous at the back, though not as bad as West Brom. West Brom 1, Derby 4. Jack Marriott on 10 minutes. Rodriguez comes back to get on the ball, to get in, to just join up with play. Don't do that. because all he ended up doing was passing it straight to Marriott from a back pass that was about 16 yards between his two central defenders. Marriott runs on, just slots it home. Now, I was live, we were recording the podcast when this goal went in, and I'll tell you what, I need to throw my laptop across the room because this was diabolical defending. Tom Lawrence then on 15 minutes, so 5 minutes later, right-footed shot, great play, but no one closes him down. He's allowed to stroll inside the box, stroke the ball past Sam Johnson, hits the post and goes in. It's a good shot, but I'm sorry, you do not let a player of his quality walk into the box. Don't let any player walk into the box the way they did. They just didn't seem to want to make a challenge. Johnson then had to make some good saves, so that just shows where Derby were at 2-0. Harry Wilson on 51 minutes. A great left-footed shot from a Jack Marriott pass. The keeper just stands still. The shot from 20 yards low, the keeper had no chance. Robson Kanu then should have scored from 6 yards. I don't know how he missed that. That was, I don't know.
Because he's Hal Robson Kanu. That's what.
It just looked easier to score. Then Scott Malone makes it 4-0 on 71 minutes. Poor defending from West Brom. They were pushing up the field, and then obviously just got done on the break. Then, and again, all through this, West Brom still looked dangerous. And you got, even at 4-0, I thought, well, if West Brom get one, there is a chance this could be a draw. Jay Rodriguez on 83 minutes, though, a right-footed shot from a Harvey Barnes pass. He kind of scuffs the shot and it deceives everyone. This was the second time that they'd been, the second time in about 30 seconds that they'd had good play in the Derby box. And again, after this goal, they had plenty of opportunities to score. This was a good game of football if you hadn't placed a bet on West Brom. And I know from Twitter, and some of our followers on Twitter are West Brom fans, and a bit disillusioned with the West Brom bench, and certainly the substitutions that Darren Moore seems to make. I still think West Brom have got some fantastic quality, and I still think you're going to do well. This was a freak result, I think, against a Derby team that have good technical quality. I do question the strength in depth of Derby's squad, though. In terms of stats, West Brom 51% possession, 16 shots, 5 on target, 4 corners, to Derby's 20 shots, 9 on target, 2 corners. This was a good game of football. I think that's always about it.
It's just a pity Derby won, isn't it, really?
It is, but what...
For your bet, of course.
Of course. Yeah. What did the manager say?
Darren Moore said Derby were clinical in their finishing, but it was a bizarre game. They gave the ball away at many times, but we just didn't capitalise, and it turned into a bad day at the office. The incident with Dwight Gale changed it. As Paul's pouring a Coke, as you can probably hear. He had a chance to score, and it clipped his heel in full flow. He had to come off because of that. He tried to run it off and made it worse. The medical team will have a look at him. Frank Lampard, that's a bit of a worry. But although he played, didn't he, the next game?
Yeah, you think he did?
Did he play? Fantastic radio as I look at my notes. I don't think he did play, actually. He wasn't even on the bench in their draw at the weekend.
So he might be injured then.
Okay. That's a fantastic podcast. I'm sorry for that dead air. Frank Lampard of Derby said, we should be pleased to beat a team who I fully expect to challenge for promotion, but there's a lot more work to be done. It is the best result we've had, but not the best performance. I'm not playing mind games. I just thought we played fantastically well against Brentford and at Manchester United. Big parts of our game were great, especially the finishing, but I think we can still improve. We're 2 points off the top boys, and it's an unforgiving league and a long season. If we listen to any talk, that's our problem.
So, that concludes part 1 of the Championship Talk podcast. In part 2, we'll be reviewing the first 6 games of the weekend, and we shall see you all in part 2. Welcome back to part 2 of the Championship Talk podcast. So, the Friday night game, QPR 1, Villa 0. I think Dean Smith is finding life as Villa manager more challenging than he probably would have expected. First of all, I want to get on to something that happened off the pitch on this game. It all kicks off at half time when Kodja kicks the ball at Lichner. Did you see that?
No.
So the referee's whistle goes, Kodja has the ball. He then just boots it at the QPR player, and this means there's a melee on the pitch as they're going off. Then it continues in the tunnel. Players had to be separated. This was just a good bit of blood and thunder. I love this. I mean,
that was your moment of the week, was it? Is that going to be in your moment of the week?
No, it's not my moment of the week. There's a couple of other bits that are going in my moment of the week. I just thought it was nice to see these two teams, really going at each other. I mean, first part of the season, QPR players have just gone, oh well.
Yeah.
Or knowing there, like the ball wouldn't have even hit them. But getting on to the game, McGinn shot. First half, he looked. Villa looked dangerous down both flanks, and this created a good opportunity for McGinn. Villa were basically restricted to long range shots most of the game. And there was a free kick, then he catches out Lumley, but hits the post. He can't. Did you see that?
Yes, I did watch the game, but I turned over this before half time because of other reasons. But watched the second half again.
EastEnders was on.
No, that wasn't my choice to turn it over. Put it that way. Hello, Kelly. Yeah, that was a nice free kick. I don't know if the flight deceived Lumley, or maybe he's just lacking first team experience and
didn't put his contact lenses in.
Bit naive and just thought it was going wide. And that's the sort of thing I do at 5-a-side and they creep in. So he's very lucky, but that hit the post. That was a good free kick.
Yeah, then you yell at your defenders for not closing them down. It's just, I've just watched you just stand there.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was a good free kick. QPR should have had a penalty. The player yanks him over. Did you see?
Yeah, he caught him. That was actually. Oh no, that was the one before, weren't it? Yeah, that was the one with started with Luongo. Yeah, he received the ball down the right, played it centrally to Eze, who fed in your mate Wujulek. I'll say it for you. Who shot wide, but then he was appealing that his shirt was being pulled, and when you watch the replay, his arm was being tugged back, weren't it? I didn't catch the defender who was doing it, but yes, that was a good shape for a penalty.
That was like a UFC move. That was great. Then Wojciech then on 38 minutes scores from a Jeff Cameron ball.
Now this goal in itself. Can I describe this? Because this is the most note I've made for this game.
Go on.
That was like that was a massive spell of incidents because McGinn fouled Hemed on halfway and got straight back up, and the referee played advantage. Cameron launched the ball forward to Wujulek, who looked like was offside, but he timed his run perfectly and the Villa defenders were static. He unleashed an absolute thunderbolt that hit the bar, bounced way over the line, then hit the bar again and come out, and Nyland tried to claim it didn't go over the line. They didn't even need goal line technology for that. I wish these officials were officiating the game at Ellen Road on Saturday. But yeah, I've put in my notes.
We're going to mention that every part.
I've put in my notes. Goal line technology tells us it's a goal. 1-0. No, there was no need for goal line technology. That was miles over the line and a lovely strike. Something romantic about them goals where they hit the. Always remind me of Tony Yeboah when he scored these lovely volleys. That hit the bar, bounce down, come back, and go back in again. But this hit the bar.
See, the reason I like this goal is the shot. It was fantastic. One, I think he realised he probably shouldn't have hit it that hard, but it was still a good shot. Two, the ball coming over his shoulder, it was just fantastic. The ball from Jeff Cameron was this. You can say a long ball, long pass. This was a long pass.
Oh no, that was a lovely pass because that split the two Aston Villa centre backs. Yep. And the fact that they were so static, I think even Wujulek stopped to check he wasn't offside at one point because I watched it back 3 or 4 times. And no, he is actually. He weren't even level, was he? He was like, that was a lovely run.
The problem was he's running at the defenders. The defenders don't then need to turn, and I think that gave a deceptive, kind of a deceptive view of how. I mean, Wojciech ain't the fastest player in the world, but he's certainly better than James Chester anyway. So Abraham then nearly scores as he's spinning. This was fantastic. I mean, this would have got in. It'd have been amazing. He's kind of jumping and spinning, and then kind of gets something on the ball. This was a good game, QPR. I've put, this is a good game. QPR have turned into a really good team.
You've missed the last moment of the match.
No, there's a couple. Blassie then looked good as he come on. There was a good save from Nyland right at the end. So I want to get on to the QPR now looking a good team from where they were.
You've missed one moment.
No, I haven't. They're 10th as we speak. Tony Fernandez is seen in the crowd. They show it right at the end. Mm-hmm. He looked ecstatic. Does this mean, do you think he's going to back Steve McLaren in January?
Well, it depends if they can with the financial fair play and all stuff like that.
It was interesting that they highlighted him and looking so ecstatic. Go on, what's this moment of the match?
The moment of the match was Grealish played a ball out to the left to Bolasie, who cut in, shot low, and that forced an absolutely fabulous save from Lumley.
All that.
You can see why I wanted to get that moment in now, can't
Let's go back to Tony Fernandez. No, seriously, because you see an owner like that and he was celebrating like they just won the World Cup.
QPR, we were told when they restructured at the at boardroom level that they are under severe financial restrictions. That doesn't change no matter who's behind the scenes or whatever. They have to be within their set limits by the Football League, and they've had to loan in a couple of
Didn't
players.
stop Birmingham, did it?
No, but but you don't know how many lives QPR have got left as pushing their luck with the Football League. Financial fair play and what's gone on from when they went up to the Premiership and coming back down, having to settle fines. The next time, we don't know how severe the punishment could be for them. They've already pushed their luck a bit too much. Apparently. Allegedly. I'll cover myself.
The thing is, they're 2 points off the players as we speak. Now, one, I think we're both stunned by that, given their performances at the start of the season. Hemed and Wells, we've already talked about how good they are. I just think I'm actually pleased that the Championship has got a story like QPR's this season, because
that is good, and that's good to see.
For all the times that I've got watching Ipswich Town play, it's nice to watch QPR play and see that actually Paul Lambert could turn Ipswich Town round, just the way Steve McLaren turned away QPR's form.
When you look at it, QPR are 10th, and they've won the same amount of games as Leeds.
Yep.
They've won more games than Forest. They've won 2 more games than Forest, and Forest are ahead of them on goal difference, because QPR's goal difference. That West Brom.
Only two teams have won more. Only 2 teams have won more games than QPR, and that's Sheffield United and Norwich.
Yeah, they've won just under half their games this season. At the start of the season, they looked dead and buried, completely with no hope. So.
I was going to be on when they lose, they get thumped. But but generally speaking, QPR are not a bad team, and obviously the loan players they've brought in, they have brought them in on loan, are doing the business for Steve McLaren, and actually he's proven he was a good coach. However, in this game, 32% possession, 16 shots, 7 on target, 5 corners, 23 fouls.
Yep.
They really battled hard in this one. 18 shots for Villa, 5 on target, 9 corners. Villa had some good opportunities in this, and I'm not going to take that away from them. The one thing I would say is their chances were very limited to outside the box, getting down the flanks. I think Dean Smith's going to take time with his team. We've got another international break coming up.
Yeah.
I just stop with these internationals. So another international break coming up, which obviously give Dean Smith a chance to work with some of his squad. However, given the players he's got, most of them will be going on national duty, which is ironic. 16,000 people at Loftus Road to see this. And what did McLaren say after the game?
Steve said, "I am so proud of the players and the staff. It has been a tough week, and we have got 3 wins and 3 clean sheets. We had to win a big game at home, and this was it. We needed to score first and defend the box for our lives and hold on. The players showed great character, and it is a platform in terms of what we can do. We need to take advantage and not let things slip." Dean Smith told BBC West Midlands, we were good tonight and created some big chances. We were the aggressors throughout the game. It is frustrating because we gave a poor goal away and did not make the most of our opportunities. We gave it everything. On another game. On another day, we win that game 3-0. Sometimes it is small margins which separate you. The spirit was there for all to see, and I won't get too downhearted about that because the players have shown me what good players they really are. So he's hopeful.
Just remove his name for Steve Bruce, and you probably got what Steve Bruce was saying. But anyway, Middlesbrough won, Derby won. This was a good game, even though it wasn't exactly a high-scoring game, but this was a very, very good game. There was a great move from Derby that leads to a Marriott header that goes wide. Wilson forces a great save from Randolph.
Dan Randolph, who
played well this game, actually.
He played absolutely superb, mate.
George Friend, 19 minutes. An own goal. I say it's an own goal. We really didn't have much of a chance. Waghorn's running away like he scored it though, which I thought was funny. He kind of, here's a defender, you don't even touch it, and you run across like you just won the winning goal of the Champions League. Then Randolph had to make a couple of really good saves. He made a couple of reaction saves. He saved a couple from one-on-ones.
He actually made 3 saves in one here, because if you...
He did.
Marriott passed at the Waghorn, laid it off to Lawrence, whose shot was well saved by the flailing legs of Randolph. It was a bit of a weird save, but effective. The rebound fell to Marriott, whose low shot is blocked again by Randolph. Got down low and blocked that well. Wilson curls one from just inside the area, which hits the post, then hits the back of Darren Randolph's head and goes wide for a corner. And he got up, and the whole Riverside was booing. What can this man do? He's keeping your side in it. Boo!
not necessarily booing him, but he's having the game of his life, and he stands up to a chorus of boos. What more can you do as a goalkeeper?
There's one thing about this is that Middlesbrough, they didn't really need to be very potent going forward because Derby looked shocking at the back here. Justed had some good chances, but he was wasteful in front of goal. I think a lack of play time perhaps for him. Then Jaden Bogle on 84 minutes and another own goal. This was a brilliant volley. I mean, I've put in a volley. He's coming over his shoulder. The concentration to make sure you bury that. Oh dear.
I've been incredibly kind of my notes. I've put Bogle who slices his clearance into the back of his own net.
No, I'm sorry.
It was a volley off the shin.
It took every bit of concentration to know you're going to bury this, and then he realises it's in his own net.
He lost his bearings.
He did lose his bearings. There was 22,000 at the Riverside, which I think is one of their biggest crowds of the season. 41% possession for Middlesbrough. 10 shots, none on target. Love that stat. 9 corners, 59% for Derby, 18 shots, 7 on target. I think Derby will be walking away from this game thinking what happened, because we really should have got something from this. However, with no shots on target, Middlesbrough get a point.
Can I just say I really enjoyed this game.
I did. I did.
Only because Derby managed to not get 3 points. Tony Pooler. Hello, Derby fans. Tony Pooler says, in the first half, we started really, really poorly. Really on the back foot. Really? We did some work this week about getting up to the ball, and we started on the back foot. We got really sloppy, and it just gave them the momentum. Randolph has kept us in the game, and at 1-0, you've always got an opportunity and a chance. Second half, the game wasn't as fluid, but we ground it out. We worked very, very hard. One thing you learnt from his post-match views is that when he's got very strong opinion and stuff, he just repeats the same word twice.
He does. Birmingham City 3, Sheffield Wednesday...
Frank Lampard.
Oh, no one cares.
Frank Lampard. We should have won that game in the first half, really. We played outstandingly well. The only thing short in our game in the first half was the 2 or 3 goals it warranted. And the fact that you're 1-0 up at Middlesbrough, you should know it's the most dangerous scoreline, because they will go even more direct, if that's possible, and try and get back into the game.
They had no shots on target.
Well, yeah.
Birmingham City 3, Sheffield Wednesday 1. We both had Birmingham to win this.
Yep, that was a bit hairy for a while.
It was, but we were both bang on. And I think we both put these on our coupon as well. Wednesday had the better chances. Wednesday had the better chances early on. Stephen Fletcher 19 minutes, a left-footed shot. This was a scrappy goal from a corner.
Even before then, he got the ball out right in loads of space, cut inside, curled one against the post from 25 yards out.
Yeah,
so the
I think that
signs were there even before.
I think it was then a move literally from the goalkeeper's from the goal kick, then led to the corner, which then he scored from. So it was really Sheffield Wednesday were all over him. But the minute they scored their goal, that was it. They stopped. There was a great run from Palmer, I think it was. Basically runs from his own half and then nearly scores. This was a great chance. Did you see this? It's Liam Palmer for Sheffield Wednesday. He basically runs from his own half, beats about 3 players into the box. And then to be fair, he's probably absolutely knackered by the time he got in the box, being the left back. Then there was a great save from Dawson. Then Conor Mahoney on 43 minutes. What a goal. 20 yards out. What power he had in that.
Yeah, he done well to beat his man Lees, didn't he? Cut inside a little bit before, Thunderbolt. No chance saving that.
Then Jutkovic on 80 minutes scores a header from a Jota cross. This was all about the cross, and Jutkovic is going to beat most people in the air. But
yeah, and he done the thing that any striker in form and worth his salt will do: knock it into the ground.
Yep, goalkeeper.
Lovely header.
Goalkeeper had no chance. Then Che Adams, a right-footed shot. Way too much time in the box. I mean, he's going to score goals like this outside the box, let alone inside the box. Don't let him turn. Good goal. Che Adams is quite a finisher.
Yeah, and again, we didn't say, well, you didn't say, but I'll fill in that blank for you. All come from Jutkovic as well. He had the ball on the left edge of the box, scuffed it centrally to Pedersen, who managed to control it and feed it to Adams, who scored and sealed the deal, really. And Birmingham from 1-0 down to win 3-1. 3 wins in the space of a week. They're going about their business. I still can't believe look at the table, but they're only ninth.
That just shows how bad a start there to the season.
And do you know how good that makes me feel as a Forest fan, watching them play earlier in the season when they were 2-0 up against us and we managed to come back to 2-2.
Makes that result a lot better now,
That does now, yeah, because at the time I thought, oh my God, we're being absolutely played off the park by Birmingham, and they've done really well this season.
23,000 at St Andrews, Trinity, whatever bollocks.
The St Andrews Trillion Trophy Stadium.
Yeah, whatever. 37% possession for Birmingham.
I've seen it on the ticket. Welcome to St Andrews Trillion Trophy bollocks.
16 shots, 4 on target. To have 4 on target, score 3 goals is a pretty good strike rate.
Yeah,
I like that.
yes.
75%
off the top of my head, Paul. That's good.
10 corners, and they only had 2 fouls. So they clearly went up for defending. 63% possession, 12 shots, 4 on target, 6 corners for Wednesday. I think Wednesday have been on a bit of a downward slide.
It's safe to say they were the aggressors as well, because they committed 11 fouls.
They did commit 11 fouls. What did old Yoss have to say, Mr. Boring?
Well, we'll leave him to last, because I'll lose the will to live. Gary Monk told BBC West Midlands, 95.6 FM, if you're in that area, to get 9 points in 3 matches this week shows the hard work we have been on.
That's probably the most points in a week he's ever got as a manager.
Shows the hard work we've been on. Yeah, it is not an easy thing to do, so I'm very, very pleased. He's gone to the Tony Pulis School of Etiquette and Punctuation. So I'm very, very pleased with the run of form we are on. First 25 minutes, we were as poor as we have been this season, and we got lucky, to be honest. It came against the run of play. The second half was more like us. We were aggressive, compact, and not making the mistakes we had in the first
Aggressive,
half.
they only made 2 fouls.
And Jos Luhuke told BBC Radio Sheffield, you have periods where you must control the game, and that's only possible when you keep the ball. When you are losing the ball too much, it gives your opponent spirit and also chances, and that's what happened. We must defend better. It's not only today. When you look at last Tuesday, 3-0 loss against QPR, and last Friday, 2-1 defeat against Middlesbrough, we now have given goals away in the past 3 games. You cannot do that at this level. Every team has strikers who profit from that. Very confident at the end. He says, when we have been 100% focus on making the best decision, then we can win the next game against Norwich City. The very best of luck with that, Jos.
Yep. Bolton 0, Hull City 1. And I was pleased for Hull here, because I don't think they haven't played awful football this season. Fraser Campbell
There's only one team in this game playing awful football, mate. That's certainly not the visitors.
No. Fraser Campbell, a right-footed shot. The 2 Hull players miskicked this. This was just a poor goal to concede. It really was.
Grozicki?
He missed 2 gilt-edged opportunities. I mean, he does well to get in these positions, but he shouldn't be missing these. He's not going to get too many chances like this. He skies one over the bar and hits one tamely at the goalkeeper. Donaldson in a bright note for Bolton. It probably was their only bright note. He did look dangerous. He just looked so isolated up front on his own, and Bolton boo them off. And when you look at the stats, Bolton 55% possession, 16 shots, 3 on target. Hull 7 shots, 2 on target. This weren't a great game because I only made 3 lines of.
No, to be fair, you missed a couple. Again, we've mentioned him quite a few times for Hull. Jackson Irvine went on a mesmerising 70-yard run. He was completely unopposed in that 70-yard run.
He squares it to
laid it off to Grozicki, whose effort is miles over, but that was all thanks to Irvine's magnificent run. The goal I've put down to terrible defending, to quote Alan Hansen. Oztumer looked like a bright spark for Bolton, otherwise dull performance. Received the ball in the middle of the field, charged forward, released Donaldson, and we said his shot went over. Doige as well, he played really well. He was up front or just behind Donaldson. Donaldson's more of the hold-up man, and Doige, big step up from League 2 to the Championship. I think that'll come good for him, given time playing for Bolton. How much time will you get? He ran unchallenged for 30 yards, slid the ball into Donaldson, who hit the side net and really should have got it on target. And then again, Donaldson held the ball up well, passes to Oztumer, who lost the ball initially but won it back, ran into the box, and his effort rolled just wide. Summed up Bolton really. Hull deserved to win on the balance of play, and the result's been coming for them because, as you say, they are down at the wrong end of the table. They're in fact 23rd out of 24. That's very much the wrong end of the table.
Can't get more down than that.
There's been a lot of pressure on Nigel Atkins as well, and that's good to see them get 3 points, although at the expense of Bolton. No offence to Bolton fans out there, but going to the University of Bolton Stadium, or the Reebok, or Burnham Park, the Macron, whatever incarnation you want to call it, fantastic result for Hull City.
What did the managers say?
I say, Paul. Phil Parkinson said, we had enough chances to get something from the game, but we can't keep missing the target. We got in some great positions, but we are lacking that moment of quality. But that will come. Now, this is more telling, a man under pressure. The only way to turn this club around is from top to bottom, to stick together. As a manager, when you are not winning games, the pressure is on you. I'll keep my counsel, but I'm absolutely delighted with the job I've done at this football club. Not what you think, mate. That's about what the board and the fans think. Nigel Atkins told BBC Radio Humberside it was a good 3 points. It's only what we deserved. Over a period of time, we've been doing really well. We knew it was going to be a competitive game, a really challenging game. It proved to be that way, but we have seen the spirit of the players. They have all had a right go for each other, and we have come away with a clean sheet and a valuable 3 points.
So I made my feelings known in the last game about Bolton being booed off. I think that what Bolton have done this season has been pretty remarkable, and I think that it's a bit unfair for them to be booed off. I mean, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I can't really argue with what you say. Bolton had a good start to the season, but when you look at it, if you remove them first 3 or 4 games and some fortuitous results, they would probably be bottom right now, which is saying something considering how poor Ipswich are. Everything that's gone on at that club, probably where they should be, to be fair. They've got 16 points on the board. I mean, if you asked any Bolton fan where they'd be after 15 games and they said anywhere other than the bottom 3,
they would have took it.
That would have been a realistic aim, and they are in 19th. So, yeah, onwards and upwards. They've got to give their players time to gel, because it is just about an entirely new team, give or take 2 or 3. It'll come good for them. Their idea of good is not being in the top 6, unfortunately. Their idea of being good is being away from relegation. And I think they've got just about enough to do that. That's all about... You can't keep living on the past. You go back to when Sam Allardyce was manager, and then they were in the UEFA Cup, weren't they? They drew up Bayern Munich, I think, under Gary Nixon.
Yuri Dorkaev and Kati Van Campo.
Yeah,
all
them quality players. And now they've got quality players like Jack Hobbs and Josh McGuinness and
Doige.
Yeah, Christian Doige, or whatever his name is. But they're all decent players, obviously, but that's nothing like... You could say that for many teams in the Championship. You just got to see where you've fallen to, basically. That's what it's based on, not what happened 10, 15 years ago. And it's a bit of a reality check for Bolton, but they'd rather be in this position than be wound up and coming through like a Phoenix club.
100%. Bristol City 0, Stoke 1. Tommins had a good chance that I thought was handball. Pretty much the best of the early action. Darren Fletcher in on 33 minutes. He controls this on his chest, lets the ball bounce, and then has a volleys this straight in.
I don't think I bounced, did it?
No, sorry. He controls with his chest, and as it's bouncing to allow, as it's falling out the air.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Now my question is that's a good bit of skill. Do you really let him do it in your 6-yard box? That's my only and I just want no pressure on him. Just push him over. I mean, he's going to score from there. You know,
penalty, red card. Play the rest of the game with 10 men.
You just lean into him, didn't you? Anyway, a good goal. I mean, he's good for Darren Fletcher. I mean, he's had his injury problems.
He's about 50 as well.
I actually think he went off in this game injured after this goal.
He did, actually, yeah.
Bristol,
I shouldn't laugh. Sorry, that's not
Bristol
funny.
City are really, really missing something up front. I can't emphasise that enough. 22 shots, 8 on target, 7 corners. I mean, Stoke are what Stoke are. 8 shots, 3 on target. They're not fun to watch. They've got a team full of stars that probably get into any club in the championship, bar probably 1 or 2. This game was dross. 22,000 at Ashton Gate. The poor souls that had to watch this game. Did you make many more notes than that?
Yeah. You have missed out the saves, and Bristol City were unfortunate not to get a result out of this, to be perfectly honest with you. What highlights did you watch, as a matter of interest?
I watched ones on Quest.
Okay.
Butler made a few good saves.
Mr. Diehue had a header that hit the post with Butland beaten. Phoebe's goal we've talked. Phoebe's assist for the goal we've talked about. Eliasson floated a free kick into the 6-yard box onto the head of Thomas Callas, who is charged down by Butland and prevented from getting a head on target. Eliasson floats in the corner from the right. Diedhu heads from just outside the 6-yard box but onto the post, and Pack's headed rebound is cleared off the line by Benica Phoebe, proving that attackers can do defending inside their own penalty area. Another Eliasson corner finds the head of Pack, whose header is well saved by Butland. Eliasson received the ball in the area. His first time effort is tame and blocked by defender, but the rebound is struck with some venom, but fantastically saved by Jack Butland. Bristol City were quite unfortunate, I would say, in the grand scheme of things. I'll carry on talking while Paul's chewing a sweet. Do you want me to go straight on to what the manager said?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Lee Johnson told BBC Radio Bristol, I just feel like with all the will in the world, we couldn't put the ball over the line. Nil one would suggest.
So did he agree with me they were missing something up front?
Well, we'll see. I was disappointed with the first half. I didn't think we showed enough intensity to go forward. We have to improve that, and our team will need to understand we cannot waste minutes. The second half was fantastic. The personality of the team was brilliant, and we were aggressive, but our only criticism is our finishing. Whether that was better finishing or technique, we'll really have to look at. I think they were unfortunate not to score. Butland was inspired. He made some good saves, but yet the attackers could have done better to make him work harder. But the shots they got on target were all well saved by Butland. So what else can you do in that situation?
See, I counter that with any of the Maxwell, Marshall, any of those top goalkeepers probably save those. I wouldn't say there's anything that was out of the ordinary that's like, wow, that was a fantastic save. It was good, but solid fundamentals from Butland.
Yeah, no. To be fair, the last save from the rebound from Eliasson was fantastic. He had to really get down to get to that. But if they were playing at Ipswich or a Preston with Declan Rudd, no offence, Declan. Hello.
They win the game.
They would have scored 5 or 6. So they have come up against an international class goalkeeper.
Oh, he is,
and that is the difference. Stokes manager Gary Rowett told BBC Radio Stoke, I think it was a cliche game of two halves. I thought the first half we were excellent for an away team to come to a difficult place like Bristol. I thought we had total control of the first half. We scored a very, very good goal through Darren Fletcher. He took it really well. Second half, of course, they had an opportunity to change their system and we dropped in far too deep. But well, maybe he could change their system as well. And that's always the temptation when you go a goal up. We had to effectively hang on. That's when you want your back four, your 5 in the end, and you want Jack to show the quality he has, and couldn't have done that any more today. He's made 2 world-class saves. I was really pleased with it. Again, Stoke are slowly getting their act together, isn't they?
Grinding out results.
Their recent form, they've won 3 and drawn 2 of their last 6. So they've worked their way up to 13th in the table. Not so long ago we were talking about them dropping into they actually were in the relegation zone, weren't they?
Mm-hmm.
So they've picked up, not a sexy way, shall we say, of picking up results, but that is effective for them. Going back to what Alex Neil said earlier, rather be effective than attractive.
They've got to. He's telling what side on 4-3. They've got to find a way of. You look at West Brom, you look at Middlesbrough. The top 4-5 clubs are going to start pulling away. Stokes' expectations have now gone from automatic promotion to the playoffs. I think that's fair to say, and I think that's realigning those expectations with the squad they've got. Millwall 3, Ipswich Town 0. Wow, what Ipswich were bad here. So early on, Lee Gregory on 26 minutes, a left-footed shot. This was such bad defending in their own 6-yard box.
Yep, I can't argue with that whatsoever. Very low on confidence. I don't think I don't think you can blame the keeper. It's just
I can't blame the keeper.
Not for this goal anyway. But just poor, unconfident defending.
Lee Gregory on 51 minutes. This is typically a long throw, flicked on at the front post, goal.
Yeah,
that's and I'm not going to give Millwall any grief about this. This was effective, and I think they knew that Ipswich was susceptible to this type of play.
Yeah.
They're disorganised at the back, so let's just get balls in. Let's get a man on the front post, flick it on, and see what happens. And it's exactly what happens here. Lee Gregory scores in 51 minutes.
I think their third goal epitomises Ipswich, really, to be perfectly honest with you.
Ryan Leonard, right-footed shot, good volley over the keeper, who was just lost outside of his own 6-yard box. He'd come for a poor punch.
Well, no, when there's that, he punched it and then absolutely collided into Luke Chambers as well. So effectively, he's out of the game, and he's took Luke Chambers out of the equation.
And Ryan Leonard just chips it over the both of them.
Yeah, that's still a good take. Nothing away from the finish, but
it sums it up. You're right. No, it does. He's miles out of his head. It just
pathetic.
Looks comical. It makes him look a shambles. And Paul Lambert sitting in the stands for this game, thinking, Wow. The only real effort Ipswich had was a shot from a tight angle that was never really going to go in. 15,000 at the Den to watch this game. The interesting bit about this is Ipswich had more possession. Millwall only had 40% possession. 7 shots, 4 on target. 21 fouls. Good on Millwall. 4 shots for Ipswich, none on target. So not only did they not score, obviously they didn't score, they didn't look like scoring.
Tell you a little thing that always amazes me when I look at the stats. We've actually missed another game. How often do you look at the stats and you see there's not a single offside in the game? There's actually 2 games in the Championship this weekend where there weren't a single offside. We've already covered one, Birmingham, Sheffield Wednesday. But this game was one as well. And you'd imagine with the amount of long balls that Millwall like to knock forward, it's surprising that none of their players were caught offside. It's effective football. I'm not criticising it one little bit.
Getting that disclaimer in there.
Neil Harris, changing the subject quickly. Very cheerful Neil Harris today. I think a big win has been due with our performances, although that wasn't our best. I thought it was extremely professional. We could have played better when we were 3-0 up. We don't ask for much, does he? But then I don't give a damn about that. I wanted a clean sheet, and the defenders and the team wanted a clean sheet. It wasn't easy for
the team that had no shots on target.
Who have scored. They've scored 6 goals away from home, to be fair, which is 1 more than they've scored at home. It wasn't easy for Ipswich in the position they are in, and with the transition to a new manager here today, but it wasn't easy for us either. You are not sure who you are going to face. Ipswich, look at the fixture list. But without being at our best, we were clinical, and to give up very few opportunities was a very good performance in the Championship.
They're going to have tougher away days, let's put it that way.
Yeah, Ipswich Town caretaker manager Brian Klug on a hiding to nothing. He'll go back to his role as development, recruitment, whatever he is, officer.
If he's the recruitment officer, he needs to say.
He's youth development, I think, to be fair. He's been there a while as well. It was exactly what we expected here at the Den, and we can see the goals from situations we knew would occur. It's something, if we don't cut out at this level, then you're going to struggle. Oh, you're going to... Come on, that gets worse. I could see some things I think can be developed, but ultimately you're looking at quality in both boxes and winning important headers and challenges, and we're finding that difficult at the moment. They've conceded how many goals so far this season? Let's have a look. 25. You mentioned it earlier. Yeah, they could get worse. Working on the training field can rectify that, and obviously the new manager will come in and he's going to find a way of turning this club around and winning games of football. Hopefully he's a religious man.
If they played Gherkin and Biakowski both in goal, they're still not going to stop conceding goals.
The way their luck is, they're probably going for the same shot and can cut each other. No.
Okay, so that concludes part 2 of the Championship Talk podcast. We've got 6 more games and we got the preview of the weekend's fixtures. We're also going to have a slight chat about the Carabao Cup. So we shall see you all in part 3. Welcome back to part 3 of the Championship Talk podcast. We've got 6 more games to go. Starting with Norwich 1, Brentford 0. I didn't make a lot of notes about this game, so clearly it wasn't a great game. When did Tim Closer become so prolific in assisting and scoring goals? Because he looked like a lanky centre-half to me.
He's a very nice man as well. This that point.
A long ball.
A lovely long ball.
Yeah.
You're waiting for me to say it, ain't you?
Emmy.
Buendia.
It's Emmy here.
Buendia.
This was a good goal. It kind of lands on his foot and he just touches it in.
That's identical in build-up to the QPR goal against Villa.
It was. Very, very good goal.
Completely different finish. It weren't as flamboyant, but still goal to goal.
Norwich fans would have you saying that this was like Ajax at its best. I would say it's a long hoof ball from Tim Closer. There should have been a penalty to Norwich City, and I think this was definitely a pen.
What
the one that Rhodes missed.
Oh, you said that should have been a pen.
No, I said it was a penalty.
Oh, okay. I thought you said it should have been a pen. Yeah, that's when Lewis found himself in so much space, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Played it inside, lofted the ball forward to the other fullback, freed him to go forward there. Questioned the defending, Maximilian Aarons. Bundled over by Watkins. What's he doing defending? Penalty. Rhodes stepped up. I'll put his effort is poor.
It's on target.
That was a terrible penalty.
At least he didn't dick about like Pogba.
Oh Jesus, yes. that took less time for Usain Bolt to win the gold medal in the Olympics in 100 metre sprint than it did for Pogba's penalty. That's another story.
The problem is
everyone's penalty.
Yeah.
No, right. The only person who can get away with doing that penalty, if you can remember, Google him. He was a Championship player and get away with saying it. Heider Helgason. You remember Heider Helgason? He used to roll them in, and he used to get it right every time.
He'd wait for the goalkeeper to move, and he'd literally roll really slowly. I mean, he had no pace anyway. So he literally just rolled them in. I do remember Heide Helgeson. I just think Jordan Rhodes, he'd have had better luck diving and trying to header it from the penalty spot.
I would have loved to see that.
Alright, dive, face plant, hit the ball.
And let's face it, Jordan Rhodes has never dived in the area.
Bentley would never have expected that. That'd have been. Then Tim Krul makes the best save I've seen him make since he last played for Newcastle. Fantastic save. This was him at his best, and he actually earns Norwich a point, I think. But
Actually made two good saves and win one, didn't he? He did. The one with Ben Rama, 25 yards out. The rebound went to McLeod from 14 yards out. And now this. We've got to talk about this. The rebound from the second save falls straight to Mopay, just inside, I think, the 6-yard box.
His territory.
Open goal. Bouncing in front of him, granted. He hits the bar. Now, someone who has scored 11 goals in the Championship so far this season, prolific goal scorer, 6 yards out, open goal. There's absolutely no excuse for him not to score.
I give keepers a lot of crap on this podcast. I think that's a
little bit of justice for Krul because they were two great saves.
Yeah,
but
I think you're right here. I think he should bury this.
That's poor, and that comes back maybe in the area. He scores most of his goals in the 6-yard box, but that effort against Leeds, where he tried to. I can't quite remember what he done, but he should have just got a shot away, and he didn't, did he? He dicked about in the area. To be perfectly honest with you, that's the technical football term for it. Sorry if that causes offence, but yeah, he should have put that away. Norwich were very, very fortunate that they got away. We've not conceded an equal.
It just shows that they've got a goalkeeper that on his day is one of the best.
Oh yeah, and we've been giving him a lot of stick.
Yeah, he does have some moments, but on this, he earned them a point. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, he earned them 3 points.
Yep.
47% possession for Norwich, which is unusual. They get muscled off the ball and they have less possession than other teams. 11 shots, 3 on target, 4 corners. To Brentford's 11 shots, 5 on target, 5 corners. Fouls fairly even. I think on the balance of play, I think Norwich look better going forwards, which is so surprising because I thought when Timu Pukki was ruled out for a couple of weeks, I thought that was going to really mean they were going to struggle. I do think they've come up against a Brentford team that have just had a change of manager. Their world's been turned upside down, really, and I think that it now is the right time to play Brentford because I think they will get back to where they were. I just think that change of manager has really hit them quite hard. 27,000 at Carrow Road for this game. And apparently, by all accounts, this was really hard to get tickets for because I think people knew this would be a good game. Brentford are sliding down the table.
Yeah, more alarmingly, if you look at their away form, eight games played, drew 4, lost 4. It's just away from home. Their home form played 7, won 4, drew 2, lost 1. So they're very much a home side, aren't they? Really, they need to get a confidence boost and win at Griffin Park and just get their first win under Frank.
That's what I think they need. Yeah, they need their first win under Frank, and I think they've got to be playing some rubbishy this weekend.
Who are they playing this weekend?
We'll get onto that. What did Mr. Farker have to say?
I'll have a look at their playing
Farker
this weekend.
Farker and Frank.
As long as it's not Nottingham Forest. No, you're fine. Mr. Farker did not mention lads. I'm actually gutted. He must have listened to this podcast and stopped.
We're giving him a complex, man.
Which is good. It is another 1-goal win, but I am pretty pleased. We have got 9 points from 3 games this week against good opponents, which is really brilliant. Those 3 points against Forest were especially magnificent because they are a brilliant team. Well, thank you, Mr. Farker. He didn't say that really. I was making that up. When you judge the amount of chances each side had, we were the better side and missed so many chances, which could have made it a much easier win. In the previous 2 victories, we have played a bit more like champagne football, but we dominated a Brentford side that are not easy to play against. It was not a perfect game in terms of our offensive play, but I am pleased with the win and the clean sheet. While Thomas Frank, I'm actually quite concerned. I'm not going to read because he's come up with like a dissertation of what happened in this game. I'm not going to read it all, but I'll just read the last paragraph here, and some of the things he says concern me about him already. If I could have chosen anyone to be in that position, it would have been Neil Mwopwe, but on this occasion he couldn't put it away. He's been superb for us this season, and we will score a lot more goals. Take it from me. Sorry, Paul showed me League 2 team of the week, and that's got O'Toole in it. Yeah.
Anyway,
but yeah, Thomas Frank saying stuff like "take it from me" in his press conference in the last game. He said something that was cliche as well, and that always reminded me Billy Davis. He used to refer to himself in the third person and go, well, Billy Davis won't stand for this. Billy Davis won't stand for that. If you just speak normal talk, I'd rather him just come out and say, look, Maupay has missed a sitter. He'll be better next game. Not take it from me. He'll score goals. Just putting more pressure on him. Watch him score a hat-trick on Saturday.
I think he's very defensive.
Yeah, watch him get the sack by Christmas.
Ooh. Interesting. So, Preston 1, Rotherham 1. Otherwise known as the Coupon Buster. Some of us had Preston to win this.
This cost my fivefold, yeah.
Yeah, they may know. Rotherham hit the post early on. Then
That was a lovely shot, wasn't it, from Smith? 25-yarder.
that was a very good shot. Barkhausen then scores a header from Callum Robson. Callum Robson, every time I've made a note about Preston, his name has been either the person assisting, the person having a shot. He's fantastic. This was just a good corner headed in.
Yep.
Then a great save from Rodak, 1-on-1.
Yep, was that from your mate again? Say his name because you've mastered it now.
Barkhausen.
Yep.
Yeah. Michael Smith on 55 minutes, a right footed shot from Ryan Williams, a great turn and shot inside the box. This was really smart finish actually.
Yeah, that was lovely high, weren't it? And Maxwell couldn't do anything about it.
Maxwell did make some good saves though. He made a couple of saves actually. I didn't know the exact ones. I think Maxwell probably on the balance of play earns Preston a point here. And that sounds strange to say given Rotherham's away form. 11,000 at Deepdale to watch this. Rotherham, 12 shots, 5 on target, 7 corners. Preston, 15 shots, 6 on target, 8 corners. This was more even than I actually thought it had every right to be. And I think this just shows the quality of Rotherham. And actually, I think they're due an away win.
Yeah, no, I was going to say their last 2 away games off the top of my head were a draw at Middlesbrough.
Yep.
0-0, and now this one, 1-1.
Yeah, because ever since you mentioned that stat
as well.
Every time you've mentioned that stat about Rotherham's away form, I back the home team.
Yeah, and they've really, really picked up. I backed Preston in this one, and they cost me about
Yep.
£100. So thank you very much. But no, because I can't hold it against Rotherham. Plus, I cashed out for £1 more than my bet cost, so I ended up being alright in the end. I was like, yeah, I'll be £1 out. That's fine. I was waiting for Preston to score in like the 20th minute of added on time or something. But Rotherham are just outside the relegation zone on 14 points as we speak. A point a game at this stage of the season. They've picked up their away form significantly. 2 draws in a row compared to their 6 straight losses with a minus 10 goal difference. Massive improvement. Their home form, they've only lost 1 out of 7. And that's probably, if they carry that throughout the course of the season, that'd probably be enough to keep them up.
I think there are teams that aren't going to be able to play as well. I mean, just look at Ipswich's home form. I mean, there's teams that don't go nowhere near that home form. So,
but I'll tell you something. I take great pride. I'm going to link this to Forest. I'm going to link Rotherham to Forest. Right, teams have seen how to deal with Middlesbrough since Nottingham Forest beat them at the Riverside. We beat them supporting the national break 2-0. Rotherham have gone there, drawn 0-0. Derby have gone there and drawn 1-1. But Rotherham have really picked up their form, and that's good to see because Paul Warne has kept most of the players that got him up. He's not a famous name by any sense of the imagination, but he's a hard-working, well-respected manager, and he gets the best out of his players, and that's what we love to see in the Championship.
100%.
We've seen it with Yeovil, Blackpool, many teams like
Burton
that.
Albion.
Yeah, Burton Albion, Bristol City when they first come up as well under Gary Johnson.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what you like to see. I'm not a neutral because I support Forest in this league, obviously, but you can't begrudge, as long as they're not beating Forest, you can't begrudge them picking up the result here and there.
What did Paul Warne have to say after the game?
I'd rather focus on the home manager, please.
Go on then.
Alex Neil said, it's been a frustrating afternoon. It was never going to be a real footballing game. Rotherham usually play to their strengths and make it difficult for you. Again, I hate it when managers say that because what do you expect them to play proper passing football and roll over and get their bellies tickled? That makes me sick when they say that. I thought we started really brightly and it seemed that we should go on and win the game easily. We got into really good areas without really picking up the right pass or selection. We got in at half-time 1-0 up and talked about seeing off the game, but Rotherham came out and played really direct, and what's really disappointing is that we didn't cope with that as well as we should have. So yeah, a bit of sour grapes that Rotherham have gone there and got a point. Alex Neil should know better than that. Paul Warne said, I think the lads did enough to get a draw. We deserved a goal in general after creating some good chances and forcing some decent saves. I was disappointed with the first half. I thought we took too many chances in the middle of the pitch, which I told them not to, and we weren't forceful or quick enough. I asked them to play in a different way in the second half, and they definitely did that. If nothing else, this group has got unbelievable character. And you can't argue with that,
I can't argue with that. Actually, Rotherham have been a team that their games are fun to watch. You know, there's been a couple of teams in this league where, if I'll be honest, if they're on telly, I tend to not to watch them. Millwall, Ipswich, Bolton at times, I dare say.
Yeah, but Rotherham have already been on TV once this season.
Well, there are a couple of teams they've been on, but these are teams that, you know, Rotherham are a team that they're the plucky underdog. They're the team that they're the team that on paper stand out as, well, they're in the Championship, and I think that's nice though, because you've got to have that team, and you know there will be 3 worse teams than Rotherham based on current form, and I'm pretty certain about that. Sheffield Wednesday 4. No, God. Sheffield United 4.
He said it twice.
Sheffield United 4. Wigan 2.
Can I just say there's some breaking news up on my phone? Not that we care, but that link into what we were saying earlier on. Real Madrid have sacked their manager Julian Lopetegui after 4.5 months in charge. So we were talking about the FIFA World Club Cup. Sorry to talk over you, Paul. It's breaking news. That's what we do in this podcast. Carry on.
By all rumours, it'll be Antonio Conte that'll be the next manager. Good playing free at the back when you only got 2 central defenders.
Well, if anything, Real Madrid should be looking at Marcelo Bielsa or Daniel Farke at the minute as well. I mean, or even Chris Wilder. The job he's doing at Sheffield United is magnificent. I'm not even taking the
Paul Hurst is out of a job.
He's got to be better than Lopetegui or whatever his name is. He's probably got a better track record club-wise.
Hey, let's get back to the Sheffield Wednesday game.
Sorry.
Great save from Henderson early on for Wigan. Wigan had the best of the early possession and the chances, and Wigan are on a day are a good team, and I think they nearly caught Sheffield United cold here, as they have a couple of teams. Then, well, Shea Dunkley, right now. He's a defender I have actually highlighted as being really good and stable at the back. He's been a rock for him. Unfortunately, this time he's thrown a rock for his own window.
I just read in my notes. I've been kind and he sliced it into his own net.
He showed Billy Sharp how to bury it from 6 yards.
That's not too far. Like the sort of measuring stick for own goals was that one that Forest Green geezer did a few years ago when he went to clear it and hit it in his own top corner. That was beautiful. This one is not too far away from that, in my opinion, because his face after he just looked up and went.
He buries it, then falls over in the goal, and no one's going over to see if he's all right. They just walk away from him and go, "You Burke." Then Kai Naismith on 39 minutes, left-footed shot.
Yeah, you don't blame the keeper for this. That was a hard shot. He parried it, and yeah.
He's free at the far post. It was a good goal. Billy Sharp on 45 minutes, a good right-footed shot, 6 yards out. Basically ends up from a free kick. Did you
see the way that Stearman celebrated this? He celebrated it more than Billy Sharp because that was the free kick. He nodded it on across the 6 yard box for Sharp to score to make it 2-1. He ran away like he'd scored a goal in the World Cup final. He was like, yes! And he slid on his knees and everything. And like Billy Sharp's just going, done it again.
At 32 years old, Billy Sharp can't run nowhere particularly quick. Then on 53 minutes, a right-footed shot again. Leon Clark, who looked good in this game actually.
He did, yep.
Low cross, 6 yards out. I mean, he was actually a little bit further wide, so obviously, starting to get a bit out of his comfort zone. But buries this. Then that made it 3-1. And then, so Billy Sharp's hat-trick. 63 minutes. He's obviously a little bit tired because it's 63 minutes in. He has to score this one from 3 yards out, but this was a nice chip.
No, I mean the words I've used to describe this goal, I've maybe gone over the top, but that was a lovely goal all round. As Ender, got that name on my mind now. It's Ender
Stevens.
Ender, not Edna, bloody Edna. Talk about that in a minute. So I'm sorry, Edna. Ender Stevens.
That's she did.
No, that's not the time. That's not the right time to laugh about that. Sorry. Ender Stevens is beautifully released down the left. He majestically knocked it over James into the path of Sharp, who stylishly lifts it over Walton from about 4 yards to complete his first hat-trick for Sheffield United in 10 years. Then... we've gone. Windass works well down the right, gets to the byline before playing it to Garner, who comfortably volleys in from about 8 yards for a wicket consolation.
Paul can do the stats in a minute. Chris Wilder told BBC Radio Sheffield, "It's not a very good performance, not up to standards that we've set. It was just one of those days where we were a little bit lax, a little bit slack, but good in both boxes." We've gone. We're keeping this in as well.
We are.
And won a game that was a lot tighter than the scoreline suggests. It was a great return for Billy Sharp because of the way we played. Oh, God.
Right, 51% possession, 12 shots on 12 shots, 4 on target, 6 corners. For Sheffield United, to be fair, Wigan, we've said on their day, they're just missing something up front. You said Will Grigg wouldn't do it at this level. You didn't say he wouldn't do it. You said it could be hit or miss him at this level.
I didn't even know if he'd been...
He hasn't been playing,
No,
which obviously gives us, it's obviously a sign of something. He potentially could be injured, actually, looking at that. But they are missing something up front. They had created a lot of opportunities. 15 shots, 7 on target, 11 corners. And you scored 2 goals away from home, you're going to feel a little bit away about, you'd expect to get at least something. But the 4 goals they conceded, 1 own goal and 3 Billy Sharp got, the 6-yard efforts.
You're saying if you take Misfortune and Billy Sharp out of the game, they're going to go away to Bramall Lane and
exactly.
win 2-0.
That's the point I'm trying to get at. But I just think, just mark him. I mean, I'm sorry, just mark him. Just put a man on him. I mean,
someone to stop him.
If he scores, you lose. Simple as that. Right, we're going to move on to Swansea 2, Reading 0. Just a side note, 24,000 people at Bramall Lane.
Yeah.
That's the crowd. They're bigger crowds than they used to get in the Premier League. They are though, aren't they? I mean, admittedly, they were watching Millwall football last time they were. Now, I wouldn't pay to see that. 2-0 to Swansea here. 18,000 at Liberty Stadium to watch the Ollie McBurney show because this was all Swansea.
I'm just laughing at this.
Go on.
The first note I've made is the penalty. He tried to protest his innocence.
He did. I put definitely a pen.
I put the words blatantly fouled. And he's like, what?
Me? Never.
When he was beaten, he just like... no, ref, no, please.
It was instant. He turns around. He hadn't even had the whistle. Ronnie McBurney buries this, and I think that's what he needed. He went 9 games without a goal.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think he's still in the top goal scoring stats. I think he's still got 6 goals. Reading came into this game in the second half, but when I say came into it, they were rubbish. Ollie McBurney there on 84 minutes. Good move. Gets McBurney in a low cross, 6 yards. He's doing his best Billy Sharp impression. I think this was a good win for Swansea. I think they needed this actually. 25 shots to Swansea, 9 on target. That is incredible. 64% possession. Reading had 14 shots, 4 on target, but Reading really weren't in their league, and I think.
As I said before we go on to the stats, that was Paul Clement's return to the Liberty Stadium, and not the return he would have wanted because they were comprehensively outplayed. But Swansea, I've looked at the league table. I wouldn't have guessed they would be that high in the league table from the way we've talked about them.
So I wouldn't.
They are 8th, 2 points out.
They're on the same points as Forest.
Well, there's about 18 teams on the same points as Forest, but granted, they are 23 points. They are only 3 points away from being 15th, and they're 8th. They're 2 points outside the playoffs. They're going under the radar.
And I think it's exactly how Graham Potter would want them.
Yeah, certainly so.
Speaking of Mr. Potter, what does he say, old Harry?
I'm delighted for the players. They put such a lot into the game. It's not easy. The 3rd game in a week, but we had good control in the first half, attacked well, and it's not easy to do against a defensively organised team like Reading. It's back-to-back wins for us, I think, for the first time this season, so it's another tick in the box. He's not got very good memory, is he? He can't remember 15 games. That's beside the point. Paul Clement, again, they've lost, so of course he'll talk. In the first half, we played poorly. We struggled to pin them down, and something had to change. But we had a disallowed goal, and that should have stood. We got back in the second half and had 14 shots away from home. So I was pleased with the spirit and performance in the second half. Yeah,
so his barometer is having 14 shots.
Only 4 from on target, granted, but still, it's been really disappointing for us so far. I understand that with each defeat, the pressure grows, but I said to the players that while I feel you are with me, I will continue to fight. This league is a marathon, and you've got to slog, grind, and show resilience. I haven't worked for 20 years to get a fantastic job like this, to give it up and walk away when it gets tough. Although he could always go and help Carlo Ancelotti at Napoli, because he's always the right-hand man. So even if he does get sacked, I'm sure he'll land on his feet.
West Brom 1, Blackburn 1. For those of us that have watched West Brom, a bit surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah.
this was a bit surprising. There was a bad miss early on from Rodriguez. Bad miss. Then he created had a good shot that was saved well by Raya. It's a bit I really want to talk about right at the end of the game. Craig Dawson, 40 minutes from Matty Phillips cross, really good headed goal. Blackburn missed some great chances here, and given their attacking talent up front is one of their strengths. They really should have done better. They should have had a penalty.
Yep.
Harrison Reed then on 71 minutes. What a goal with a right foot curler. This was fantastic. This was Harrison Reed from...
Yes, that was lovely, wasn't it? Absolutely lovely. 25 yards out. Worked. Was it when he come off the wing?
He did come off the wing, right footed, curl at top corner.
Lovely
Then
goal.
this game went really end to end by two attacking teams. But however, the best moment of this game...
No, you can't call it the best moment.
Oh, no. Raya getting injured was quite bad, and it was a really bad facial injury. However, who goes in goal?
Smallwood, wasn't it?
Where does he normally play?
Is he a defender?
He is a defender. I thought he played quite well. He certainly played better than Rudd's played, or or a couple of other keepers we can name.
He didn't have a lot to do, maybe, but the one little goalmouth scramble, he was actually behind his goal line.
He was leading down. There's that Neil Warnock used to do that as Sheffield United manager. He never used to name a reserve goalkeeper.
No, he didn't, did he? Actually,
No.
no. He used to have that was was it Phil Jagielka?
Yeah, Phil Jagielka was going goal.
Was the designated goalie?
Let's be honest though, if you are the reserved goalkeeper, which I think is Lewis Travis.
No, to be fair, the shirt he had on his back was Lutweiler. Is he the goalkeeper?
Yep,
he must be.
Jason Lutweiler, yeah.
Lutweiler, but Blackburn had made all 3 substitutions.
They had. So the defender goes in goal, and that was just fantastic. It was. I mean, if you're a West Brom player and you've just seen a defender go in goal, you really must be up for it. But you're right. He had about 15 minutes in goal. Really didn't have a lot to do at all. The one goalmouth scramble was pretty tame, and the defenders were doing their best to get in front of it. Really last ditch defending, but this was comical stuff.
Yeah. I was we were going to talk about I was trying to see an update on David Raya.
He absolutely got smashed in the face.
He
It was accidental. It was a bit like the Peter Cech injury where he had that head injury. It was just unfortunate. Both 50-50. They're both going for the ball. Raya just unfortunately comes off a lot worse. Being as a goalkeeper, you're going with your hands rather than your feet, so you're always going to get the worst end of it. But no, to see the defender going goal was good, and I'm pleased that they didn't concede from that.
No.
Really harsh.
Just to say, I'll quote direct from David Raya's Twitter. He put a tweet out there at 11:25 on Saturday night. We take the point after the circumstances. If not, I think we could have took the win. On my way home now, nose is broken. It's too early to see anything because it's very swollen. Thanks for the kind messages and the support I have had from everyone. #Rovers. He's not put a picture on there yet, although most of the people on there saying, that's all well and good, you're fine, but we want a selfie. Of his broken nose. I don't know what you want to see that for.
To be fair, even if his eyes are swollen up and he can't see, it'd still be better than Declan Rudd.
But to be fair, he has been absolutely phenomenal so far.
He's been a great
season.
goalkeeper.
So hopefully he comes back, and that's going to sound like a weird thing to say. Hopefully his confidence is not dented by that, because he's been phenomenal so far this season, and long may it continue.
23,000 people at the Hawthorns. West Brom 19 shots, 7 on target, 51% possession. Blackburn 9 shots, 5 on target. This game was end to end, and this game really could have been any kind of score. And actually, it was probably Sam Johnson and David Raya that kept the score down.
Yeah, and of course Smallwood at the end.
Smallwood, he had his part to play. Standing behind the goal line, that's always a help. when a defender goes in goal, they always look small.
Yeah, no.
I mean, a centre half goes in goal. You know, he's going to be of a fair size, but he just looked tiny.
Take it for granted. I mean, we'll talk about the referee. We'll talk about Costel Pantilimon and his protest and in the next game. He fills the goal.
He does.
And it's like I can remember we went to Carrow Road a few years ago and watched Wimbledon. That's how long ago I went there. Watched Wimbledon.
The original Wimbledon.
God rest their souls. And they had a sub-keeper called Ian. But be careful I say this. Ian Fura.
Yes, yeah, I remember him.
He was huge. He had to. I've never seen a goalkeeper or a person, a human being, so tall.
I think he was only about 6'11".
Only 6'11". I mean, how often have you seen a professional goalkeeper nearly 7 foot?
Pantilimon.
He's like 6'8", isn't he? But Ian, I'm gonna go look and see how tall he was.
Was Eric Torsvet really?
Eric Torsvet. Oh, bloody hell, that's going back a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, he was quite.
Ian Fura is over 2 meters high, so he was only 6'7". He looked a lot bigger, and for the same reasons. Speaking of keepers who are a lot bigger than what they looked, Kevin Pressman, who was 6'7" wide, of course. he honestly looked like a whale because his kit was grey.
What did Darren Moore say after the game?
Sorry, I'm talking about fat goalkeepers. Speaking of fat goalkeepers, I'm speaking. We just couldn't get the goal, albeit by plucky and determined play, as well as sheer numbers in front of the goal. We just couldn't get the touch over the line. We should have won it on the chances we had, but look at Blackburn and the wonderful goal they scored, and it just wasn't to be. They had bodies in the way, and we got the blocks in. It's been a difficult week, and it stops the rot. That's the way I'm looking at it. It's something to build on. We created chances, and if we hadn't created chances, that would worry me. Tony Mowbray said, for the team to dig in as they did was not a surprise to me. It was almost a heroic effort for them considering the amount of defensive injuries we had. A lot conspired against us, but we took a point from a place that is very difficult to visit. They have a lot of quality players. The class they possess is scary, but for long spells of the second half we were the better team in the ascendancy. It looked like the goal was coming, and eventually it did.
I think teams are starting to see playing West Brom as they are the team. Well, Middlesbrough are going to grind out results. West Brom are the team. They're the team with the quality. They're the team scoring all the goals.
Yeah.
And I think teams are relishing playing West Brom because they're the marked team. They're the ones you want to get a win against. You can finish 8th, 9th, 10th, but we beat West Brom. Probably means you're going to beat them probably one of the...
Yeah, but again, you've got a chance. Well, they've scored 33. They've conceded 23. So they've conceded more than teams like Ipswich, Hull, Reading, and Rotherham have scored.
Yep,
that's scary, really. But then again, if you've got a season ticket at West Brom, which we know some of our listeners have,
you're going to see good game of football.
You're getting bang for your buck.
Right, first of all, we need to say Leeds 1, Forest 1. Now, this is the game we've been building up to because I had a tirade of abuse over WhatsApp when this game was going on. First of all, I want to say there was a really nice fitting tribute to one of their long-standing fans, Edna. Right at the start of the game. Why are you laughing?
Way to make me feel bad.
Right, so
that wasn't in the start. That was in the 64th. That was in the 64th minute, mate.
She'd been a long-standing fan, long-standing season ticket holder,
you'd have thought they'd have got a receipt.
Bless her, the passing of their stand. It even got a mention on Quest. They devoted more time to this than they did the Bolton game. So it was very nice to see the fitting tribute. It's nice to see a club. It's nice to see a club actually reward their fans, and they're not saying you have to pass away to be rewarded.
In all seriousness, because this has been a very, we've been a bit more downbeat this week, and I wasn't referring to this Edna when I said bloody Edna earlier on. In the 64th minute, they give a minute's applause to Edna Newton.
Yep.
I just want to say her name.
And they also
64 straight seasons, and
they used the screens in Ellen Road as well.
Yeah,
and
that's
34,000 people, and to see fans that loyal. I mean,
and what better way to honour her memory by cheating to get a point.
So let's move on to the game because there might be some bitter ill feelings. So
there might be.
So Jack Robinson, a header. A good corner. Grabham still tries to get the... Yeah, did you see that? He still tries to get the goal. I mean, cheeky bastard.
That's what you do as an attacker.
The ball's going in, so you decide to steal your mate's goal. Okay,
yeah, but there's also an added prong to this fork.
That's a good quote. I'm going to use that more often.
He probably did put off Peacock Farrell.
He did, yeah, and I think that's part of it.
I mean,
he had every right to go for
and
that.
as we've highlighted in previous podcasts, Peacock Farrell doesn't like people being near him when he's diving.
No, so all credit for him.
Leeds had a lot of the play. But they were really restricted by a resilient defence from Forest, and they were restricted to long range efforts. The only time they really got in the box was on 82 minutes, where Kamal Roof had a good hand in this goal from Matthias Klick, crossed into the box. It was a bit sloppy at the back. However, Kamal Roof makes sure that he made his mark on this game. I think that's fair to say. And again, this is going to be raw for you. You're a Forest fan, so I had to watch it back to see exactly what happened. However, I'd already seen the message from you.
Don't repeat what I said.
No, it's safe to say Roof wasn't your favourite fan. You weren't Roof's
or what I put on Facebook.
You weren't Roof's biggest fan at the time. And you've also got what the Quest pundit Ian Holloway said. And I think I actually agree with his comments a lot. So from a fan's point of view...
Right, from a fan's point of view, you can have an insight. You listeners can have an insight into my personal life. I watched this game until the 81st minute when my lovely fiancée Kelly told me it was tea time. And I said, in a minute, darling. And she got angry because I hadn't gone through to get my tea. So I went through to get my tea and heard the crowd shout, it's an equaliser. So I missed the goal initially. When I come back through to the front room, I saw Costel Pantilimon, Michael Dawson and a whole host of other players pointing at their arms, which either they wanted a hit of heroin or they had seen Sutherland go, Paul's look, that's being cut.
No, then.
Either that or there was something dodgy about the goal. So we looked at the replay and my reaction, whether us Forest or not, if that many players are going across and protesting, Sutton is awry. One or two normally complain if that's like a hopeful one, not an entire team. They went across completely angry to the linesman. I've not even bothered to look at his name because he is a tit. I'll say that. I don't care. I'm going to get sued for libel.
He should have seen it. I'm not gonna lie.
No, but right, to be fair, Roof had his back to that linesman. So the linesman... Yeah, but he done it in a way where you couldn't... I've actually got a still of it on my phone. But I don't blame the linesman as much as I blame the referee. It's his job to see that.
How in the
linesman, if you imagine the back view of that, that could have hit his knee from the linesman's point of view.
Roof did his best to put his leg as close to his arm so that it was disguised the fact that he was cheating to get the ball in the back of the net.
What makes me sick more than anything, and being a referee, you should not. Well, you can't judge it on this, but he knows. Kamal Roof admitted at the end, and there was even a bit before they spoke to him at the end as well. He got his undershirt and spoke to someone from Leeds United that was probably, are you say that was handball? And he's going, okay, yeah. And he's put it over his mouth so you can't see what he's saying. And then he speaks to Sky directly afterwards. So obviously he's been told by someone.
Yeah.
He's got to say it.
Yeah.
He tried to claim that was ball to hand. Bollocks is what I say to that. He put his hand in a strategic place. If you can get away with it as a professional footballer, you can get away with it. That's got Leeds a point, which... the balance of play they probably deserved.
Yep.
But Forest went there. I'm not just being biased because I'm a Forest supporter. You'll say I am, but I don't care what you say about this. Forest went there, had a game plan, had less possession, got their goal and played their defensive football, which they do well. Mm-hmm. And they deserve to get something out of this game.
This was the
They got a point, but that should have been 3 points. They done enough to get 3 points in this game, and they've been mugged, basically. Because, again, Hernandez had a chance later on in this game. If they'd have gone on and lost this game 2-1, that would have been down to that goal being scored, the momentum going to Leeds, and they would have gone forward and won 2-1, and that would have been an absolute travesty.
This was one of the only real chances that Leeds had inside your box.
Yeah, and Kamal Roof, if he's that good a striker, could have just thrown his body at it instead of his arm.
He lands in the goal with the ball. I think he knew
but
his momentum was throwing him into the other way.
His look and 3 of his teammates' look wasn't to him, it was to the linesman.
He gets up.
He knows straight away.
He's very clever. So he gets up to celebrate. He runs in the direction of the linesman so that it looks like he's celebrating the goal, not just checking the linesman. I thought the
first thing his teammates done were look at that linesman and then look at the referee before they score. Something dodgy is going on there. Even Maradona, who done the hand. I'm not comparing this to the hand of God. But he just carried on regardless. You
can't put Roof in the same category as Maradona.
Well, Leeds fans do, but no, that's just no. If this was a Forest player doing this, I would be as I would be as disgusted, to be perfectly honest with you, because I would rather lose a game of football than cheat to get something out of it. And it's even the same. We play football 5-a-side on the Thursday. At the end of the day, that means nothing. We go for an hour for a laugh and to unwind and to vent. If I had to cheat to win a game of 5-a-side, you know, I've been brought up not to cheat. Professional footballers, that's based on, like, you get all this fair play and all stuff like this. What example does that set to young Leeds fans? Oh, we're not good enough to win, so we'll cheat to get.
Do you remember the Thierry Henry handball?
Yes, and that
Ireland?
lives. Yeah, and that mugged an entire nation.
Yep.
For was it the World Cup or the European
World Cup.
Championships? Yeah, that robbed an entire nation. How that man sleeps at night, I don't know.
On a pile of money.
Well, yeah, he's doing a magnificent job on Monaco at the minute, isn't he? I've made notes here. I'm going to quote myself word for word, because if that wasn't for this, I'd be saying F this, F that, you're a C, blah blah blah. There is no doubt the referee, Jeff Eltringham, and his team have got to be punished somehow for this, because that's cost Nottingham Forest 2 points. If at the end of the season they're 2 points away from the playoffs, or a point away from the playoffs, that's cost them. Simple as that. And that's, like, we're talking millions and millions of pounds. They need to be demoted or something for the time being. Roof is a disgrace for Ian trying to justify his actions on Sky. His exact words were, I just saw the ball flash across and the ball hit my hand. Call it ball to hand. It's a goal. It's up to the ref to give it, and he gave it. He then went on to say that Leeds deserved the point because they outplayed Forest. We were there playing negatively. What, again, I've said this earlier on, why should teams go and play expansive football and get, like, completely steamroller to suit Leeds' style of play? You go to a system. Forest done it, and they've been mugged. Ian Holloway,
This was the view that I agreed with.
The voice of reason in football, in my opinion, especially at championship level, always got a soundbite, very serious. He struck the right tone on Quest by saying it goes against the spirit of the game, and Kamal Roof should be ashamed of himself, and he should be. He don't care because Leeds have got a point out of it. They had to cheat, or Roof cheated to get Leeds a point, which is a shame, because the way Leeds play football is beautiful. You can sell the way they play football you can sell that as part of the championship, being wonderful as it is, different styles of play, teams are more direct and up there as well, but Leeds play beautiful football. They gradually break teams down and win, but then not Leeds. You can't say it's Leeds, because I doubt the coaching staff or anyone else saying, get in that position and handle it in. Kamal Roof has decided to handle it in. Hopefully he'll get dealt with internally. He won't, because Leeds got the point and that's another game undefeated. But they couldn't find a legitimate way to break Forest down, and in the cold light of day, and considering what happened later on Saturday evening, put things into perspective. That's only a game of football compared to people losing their lives. But you just got to swallow a very bitter pill and get on with it. I take great pride in the fact that Forest went to Elland Road and should have got 3 points, and through no fault of their own.
71% possession to Leeds, 18 shots, 3 on target, 6 corners. 29% possession to Nottingham Forest, 3 shots, 1 on target, 17 fouls.
But they were effective. They went there with a plan. And
that is in no way a criticism of Forest, because I think that won't be the first time Cranker uses those. I'm not going to call them negative. Not the first time Cranker realises that actually a point is better than none. So actually, we'll play a certain way to get that point. Doesn't make it the most attractive game, and it weren't the greatest game of football. I mean, I watched the game; it wasn't great. And I think Leeds probably would have nicked a point, perhaps, without this goal. The bitter pill to swallow is the way this goal went in, and the way that Kamal Roof uses it. He disguises the handball really well. He runs, he's as if he's celebrating towards the linesman so he can look. Every bit about this says someone who's prepared to do anything to win, and they got a point. And I think that's, there'll be I think there'll be some Leeds fans that probably don't like the way they got the goal and probably felt that they shouldn't have done that. But there'll be a lot of fans that will probably we're just going to move on, and that is sad. And I know Ian Holloway was quite critical of it, but as you say, the 2 points that you dropped, you would have put you level on points with Derby in the playoffs and probably above Derby on goal difference. So it's an interesting one. And to be fair, what Cranker said after the game I thought was quite interesting.
Was it because I didn't make a note of it?
Yeah, no, neither did I. I don't actually think he didn't look good.
I haven't made a note of it, but I do know he tried not to focus too much on the handball. He preferred to look at the positives from the game. He said, that's there for everyone to see. I'll let them be the judge. And he talked about the way his team were very defensively strong and should
it was
have got the
commented
3 points.
on how professional he dealt with it.
Yeah.
And I think that just shows the sign of a manager who's. I actually think this could be a galvanising effect to Nottingham
Hopefully,
Forest.
I'd just say going back, I'm not raising this point to say you were wrong. In the build up to this game, you said that Forest I don't know if you said they could go there and win, but they could definitely go there and get a result. I remember you saying, because players like Carvalho would have played on the big stage and would be used to it. Carvalho was absolutely shocking.
Graben didn't do well either, did he?
No, and as we said earlier on, those two work well together. So if Carvalho's not providing the service, Graben's not going to be getting the balls into the box, and that's a shame because Carvalho, that was a big stage for him, and he's not delivered. So. Yeah, I mean, we've got a game coming up midweek against Burton in the Carabao Cup. We've got a deep enough squad to maybe tinker a little bit, so we'll see what Tuesday bring. But the cold light of day, if you give me going through to the quarterfinals of the Carabao Cup or getting 3 points at Ellen Road, I'm going to take 3 points at Ellen Road every single day of the week.
And everyone would, and that's why the Carabao
And I've got
Cup
nothing against Leeds or Leeds fans. I'll just make that perfectly clear now because I don't want to leave myself open to all sorts of criticism and hatred from them. It's just the way that's just the way Kamar Roof went about it. I've got nothing against the Leeds. They've been fantastic all season and they will continue to do so. Got a lot of respect for them and they are where they deserve to be. But that just leaves a sour taste in the mouth. But the way they got a point against us was through that, and that's not Leeds' fault necessarily. That's just one player and his actions.
Game of the week/weekend.
Good one, Paul. I would say
There's some crackers. I'm going to say, if you're going to show someone Championship football and you're going to try and win some friends out that are star-struck by the Premier League, there are some games this week that definitely show them. There's some games that definitely steer them away from anything with Ipswich Town in. Preston Brentford was good.
I'll be including Wednesday night's games as well.
Yeah, I'm including Wednesday night's games.
Okay. Well, in that case, from my personal point of view, that's got to be Forest against Bolton. But from a strictly professional point of view, I think you hit the nail right on the head by saying Preston 4, Brentford 3, just for the sheer amount of action and drama involved in the game, to be perfectly honest with you. From Saturday's game, so if you had to push me, I think you hit the nail on the head. Although, well, I would probably go for West Brom Blackburn for topsy-turviness, if there's even a word, but it's got to be Sheffield United Wigan for the comedy own goal and Billy Sharp's first hat-trick for Sheffield United in 10 years, and the fact that puts them top of the table.
For me, my game of the weekend was QPR 1, Villa 0. I think this had everything. This had drama, this had a really lively crowd. Loved this game. What was your shock of the weekend/week/weekend?
I really don't know.
I will go.
You go first.
The shock of the weekend was Bolton fans booing their own team off. I think that really surprised me. I think it lacked a little bit of class as well, I'll be honest.
Yeah, I'd say I can't really answer that. I mean, yeah, considering what happened Saturday evening, I'm not gonna.
Your goal of the weekend?
Excuse me. Just for the way it went in, I'd go for Vigilac's goal for QPR.
Very good goal.
The way the ball was played into him and he smashed it in off the bar.
No, I think there was some crackings this weekend. I'm going to go for Kamar Roofs.
You're a tosser.
No.
Tosser.
I'm going to go Billy Sharp's third.
Oh yeah, that was lovely.
I think that just that close control. Bless him, at 32 years old, he's score a hat trick at this level. He is their talisman, and I've spoken to a Sheffield United fan, and he said if they can keep him fit, their push for the automatic, certainly the playoffs, is definitely on. And I think that is fantastic. So, in terms of top goal scorers, Maupay still sits on 11 goals. Probably should have had 12. Billy Sharp is now on 10 goals. And bear in mind, he scored no penalties as well. That's pretty good going. Dwight Gale is on 8. Also, Lewis Graben is on 8. Jukovic is on 8. And Jay Rodriguez is on 8. So they are the leading goal scorers. The table, we've mentioned it a couple of times. There was 5 leaders this weekend of the championship.
Crazy.
That is considering nearly every team played at 3 o'clock as well. That is fantastic. I love this league. Sheffield United sit top on 29 points, goal difference of 9. Leeds sits second on goal difference. They're on 27 points. They've got a goal difference of plus 14.
Should be plus 13.
Middlesbrough
And 26
are
points.
also on 27 points, goal difference of 9. Norwich City sit 4th, level on second place Leeds, 27 points, goal difference of 3. So yeah, they've got
Yeah,
some.
but can you remember that season when they were third in the Premier? They were at the top of the Premiership for ages, and they had like a minus goal difference.
Yep, I remember that.
But to be fair, to make my suggestion at the start of the season look good, they are only 15 points away from the relegation zone. Still time for them to collapse.
Still time to collapse. 4th is. That's incredible. Well done, Norwich. And to be honest, just for East Anglia, consider how dross Ipswich Town are. I'm pleased for that. West Brom have slipped down to 5th. That just shows how tight it is at the top on 25 points. Also, Derby are on 25 points as well. West Brom got goal difference of plus 10. God, they scored some goals. Derby have got a goal difference of 6. Forest then sits 7th on 23 points, and then about 4 teams also sit on 23 points.
Should be 25 points, of course.
Level on points with QPR. Wow. Right, propping up the league if an Ipswich Town fan is listening to this, they're probably feeling a little bit like we're against them, but we're not. We really aren't. It's just that we can only say what we see. And unfortunately, we have eyes and we are looking at this league. And
we are. Do you know the name of their magazine?
Go on.
Kings of Anglia.
Really. 9 points, Ipswich Town prop up the bottom, minus 14. Then Hull City on 12, minus 9. Reading on 12, minus 6. Then just above them, Rotherham on 14 with a goal difference of minus 10. Also on 14 points are Preston with a goal difference of minus 5. They've let in 29 goals and they've still got a goal difference of minus 5. That's incredible.
They've scored 33 goals.
That is pretty impressive.
That's incredible. They've scored the same amount of goals as West Brom. But they've shipped to Fairfield as well.
They have shipped to Fairfield. So that concludes part 3 of the Championship Talk podcast. We will be previewing the weekend's games quickly, otherwise I'll start it by the time we finish this podcast, and we shall see you in part 4. Welcome back to part 4 of the Championship Talk podcast. If you're still with us, thank you so much for listening. We're going to move on to the Carabao Cup, which Tuesday and Wednesday's games, and I shall go over to Thomas.
And Thursday, I may add. And Thursday as well.
Good way of publicising it.
Yeah. Right. Well, first of all, Tuesday's games, the initial fixture list will be curtailed by 1. We'll go into that in a second for obvious reasons. Bournemouth entertain Norwich City. Of course, we've got interest in Norwich because they are a Championship side. Of course, more importantly, for everyone involved, Burton Albion entertain Nottingham Forest in a game that's live on Sky.
Are you worried about that?
No, because I don't really mind if Forest lose. I'd rather they focus on the league. Be good for them to get a few players game time. We should be going there. When I'm looking at the League One table, Burton are 16th. Their home form is 1-4, drew 1, lost 3, plus 3 goal difference at home.
It's their cup final.
Yeah, well, yeah, we've only lost 1 game away from home all season, although drawn 5. If it goes to penalties, I worry, but yeah, we'll see. That wouldn't be the end of the world. That'd be good to get to a quarter final. That'd be the furthest we've gone for a long time in any cup competition. So we'll see. But I'm not going to be too downhearted if we lose. That game's also live on Sky tomorrow. The game between Leicester and Southampton has been postponed for obvious reasons, as a mark of respect for the 5 victims of the tragedy on Saturday evening. Wednesday's games, Arsenal against Blackpool. That'll be one you'll be quite interested in. Blackpool, as we speak, where are they in League One? League One, so I can't even see them. They're 12th.
To be honest, I think Arsenal at the minute are now very firmly flat track bullies. I think unless we play against any of the top 4 or 5 in the Premier League, I think we can pretty much beat most teams.
Yeah, when you look at Blackpool's away form in League One, they lost at Fleetwood Town 3-2 on Saturday. That's their first defeat away from home all season. They've won 1, drew 4, lost 1, scored 5, conceded 5.
We could play our kids and still win that.
Don't take anything for granted, but you'd imagine that's the case. Chelsea entertain Derby, which is probably game of the round. I've not put on my notes, but that is live on Sky.
Even as a Forest fan, you're telling me you don't want Derby to win that.
West Ham against Tottenham Hotspur is another one as well, and of course Middlesbrough entertain Crystal Palace. That's another one for us Championship fans. I think they've got a good chance.
I think they've got a very good chance of being.
Then again,
is Pierce going to play the kids?
That depends on how seriously Roy Hodgson want to take it with Palace as well. And Thursday, Manchester City entertain Fulham. So that's that one covered for you. The game's live on Sky. Burton Albion against Forest tomorrow and Chelsea against Derby on Wednesday. Hopefully 2 entertaining games. Bit surprised Burton Forest is on Sky. I'd have preferred to have seen Bournemouth Norwich live, even though I'm a Forest fan. That'd be more entertaining, I'd imagine.
I think that'd be a very close game.
But we'll see. I mean, as I said, I'm not going to be too disheartened if we don't go through. But perfect opportunity. Yeah. Basically, do you want to move on to the Championship games at the weekend?
Yes, so on Friday night, Villa on telly again. There's a common theme between Villa, Derby and Leeds being on telly constantly, but we've already been into that. I think that if you're
they're not on TV enough, in my opinion.
No, it's every game. It's ridiculous. Villa against Bolton. I think Dean Smith's about to get his second win as Villa manager here.
Who'd have thought that at this stage of the season we'd be saying it's 17th against 19th? That's crazy, isn't it? Absolutely crazy. Although a win for Villa would put them as high up as 13th. Dizzy heights. Yeah, can't see anything other than a Villa win here.
The game that the first 3 o'clock kickoff has become very interesting by QPR's current form. So it's QPR, Blackburn at home to QPR, which both are, well, there's a point difference, and QPR actually above Blackburn. That's just incredible.
Yeah, I'd look at Blackburn's home form. Only lost once. That was a midweek game against. Who did they lose it? Was that Sheffield United who beat them?
It was one of the top teams. Yeah.
Yeah, Sheffield United beat them at Ewood Park. Only team to do that in over a year. So as much as QPR are on form, that takes a bloody good team to go to Blackburn and break them down at home. I think I'll be going for a draw.
I'm going to go for a Blackburn win purely and simply because I don't think QPR's away form is particularly good. They're in a good run of form recently, but they do concede goals away from home, and Blackburn have got the firepower to score.
They've got the power.
Derby County at home to Birmingham.
Yeah, but if you take away the 7 goals they conceded against West Brom at West Brom, their goal difference away from home would be +1 rather than -6. Just throw that out there.
I think Blackburn have got equal. They've got similar resources up front. I don't know. I think this is still going to be a Blackburn win. Derby against Birmingham. Birmingham, who are in a real good run of form at the minute. Derby also doing a good run of form at the minute. I'm still going to go for a Derby win though.
I'm going to go for 0-0. These games often doesn't. No, not really. I'm going to put my neck on the line. Derby are there to get got, and I think Birmingham have got it in them, and they're on form to do it. I'm not saying that because I'm a Forest fan. I honestly think that Birmingham are on a real rich vein of form at the minute, and I think they can go to.
I can see your point of view. Jutkiewicz up front. Birmingham play a very physical. They've got a very physical attacking threat. Che Adams, Jutkiewicz, Jota. I don't think Derby have come across many teams that play the way Birmingham do.
No, and you've only got to look at the way that West Brom. Admittedly, that was 4-1 Derby at the Hawthorns, but you've got to look at the amount of mistakes Derby made at the back. Birmingham are the sort of team who can capitalise on their mistakes.
They only need 3 or 4 chances to score 2 or 3 goals, so it's simple as that. Brentford at home to Millwall.
This one's an interesting one, isn't it? Because that's a London derby as well.
It is, and normally I'd have gone straight for Brentford, but given Brentford's recent run of form, I'm actually going to go for a draw here, personally.
The only thing that stopped me going for a Millwall shock win is the fact they haven't won away from home yet all season. Drawn 2, lost 5, goal difference of -8 away from home. Brentford got very good home form.
I'm going to go under 2.5 goals in this because I don't think this will have a lot of goals. Given the fact that they've got Ollie Watkins and Mope up front, I still don't think Brentford's scoring enough goals.
This is either a game that's going to be 0-0 or like 3-1 or something like that. It's going to be one extreme or the other, and I can't quite pin my pound on it, to be perfectly honest with you. I'd go for a score draw. Definitely not one I put on the coupon either way.
Reading going to lose to Bristol City. Sorry, Reading against Bristol City.
You've missed out like 2 or 3 games.
No,
but never mind. Reading, Bristol City. I'm trying to find Bristol City's form. They're okay away from home. Actually, they're very identical home and away. Reading. Bristol City here.
Yep. There we go. Hull at home to West Brom.
I think West Brom they've got too much quality going forward for Hull. Hull have picked up. They've had a few false results, if that makes sense, although they did win at the weekend. But I just think West Brom going forward will have too much for.
West Brom have had 2 really bad results. I think this could be a chance to get back on track. I'm going to go for West Brom win here, and I think that'll be good odds as well. Ipswich Town at home to Preston North End. The one team I don't think you'd really want to go be at home to, because there'll be a team that the Ipswich faithful would be expecting you to win. It's a bottom of the table clash. A win for Preston, they start moving away from Ipswich, and Ipswich really start getting cut adrift because Preston are level on points with the 21st team, so they're level on points with a team just above the drop zone. I think if Preston win here, this could be real big trouble for Ipswich. Be Paul Lambert's first game in charge. I'm still going to go for a Preston win.
The only thing in Ipswich's favour is the new manager bounce, because a lot of them will probably know that there's going to be a big
Paul
change
Lambert
in January.
could probably get into
to,
Ipswich's Town's team.
Quite possibly, and he may well have to. I'm going to go for a draw. As much as I think Preston have got it about them to win, they've still yet to win away from home this season.
Forest at home to Sheffield United.
You can go first.
Wow.
Because I know what I'm going to say.
I'm going for a Sheffield United win.
2-2.
Interesting. I mean, Sheffield United are going to score. Simple as that. I think put. Sheffield United's away form isn't that good.
No, well, that's either or bust for them. 1-4, lost 3, no in between. Still got a positive goal difference. Forest only lost once at home. That was to Norwich. Are Sheffield United a better team than Norwich? Yeah, that does concern me. Forest have got it about them. I think that very much depends on who get the first goal. I do, but I've got a strong feeling this is going to be a Desmond. I really do. I'm going to go for a high score draw.
I think Sheffield United are definitely going to exploit the weaknesses you've got in the air.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this is the sort of game I was going to have a look, but I forget. I think Billy Sharp was at Forest and done nothing for us. I'm sure he was at Forest and nothing for us. We also had David McGoldrick at Forest.
You did, and he did nothing for you.
He'll probably score a hatful against us. We have a habit of ruining strikers, so it's quite rewarding to see our man at the minute have such a good spell of it grabbing, because we normally ruin strikers. No, in fact, he was on loan of us. He scored 10 goals in 39 appearances, did Billy Sharp.
Prolific.
So 25% strike rate's not too bad. Sorry.
I'm going to go for Sheffield United win.
You would do. Next game.
It's not anything against Forest. I just think I don't know how much that result against Leeds would have taken out of you. Rotherham at home to Swansea. Now Rotherham's home form is not bad. Swansea's away form is bad.
I don't know. They've only lost 2 of 7 away from home, but they're goal different.
Yeah, there you go.
Scored 4, conceded 4, so they're very tight away from home. Rotherham have got a goal difference of +2 at home. This has not really been an ambitious week, has it, really? This is one for draws for me. I might do what you do and perm my bet. Do doubles, trebles and fourfolds or something. I think it's going to be a draw. It wouldn't surprise me if it's a draw at all.
Sheffield Wednesday at home to Norwich. I think it's going to be a Norwich win. I think Sheffield Wednesday are on a big slide.
Yeah, which is a shame because, well, not that we've got any affiliation with Sheffield Wednesday, but they picked up their form, didn't they? Big style, and then they've just collapsed all of a sudden as well. Their form, in their last 6, they've won 1, drawn 2, lost 3, -5. Norwich 1-4, drew 1, lost 1, goal difference of +3. On all known form, you'd go for a Norwich win. They're away from home. They'd probably be a decent price to put in your coupon. I'm going to agree with you. Say away win.
Stoke at home to Middlesbrough.
This is the game that's graced live on Sky as well.
It is. To be fair, it's not a game I look forward to watching, I'll be honest. Stoke, they're grinding out results. Middlesbrough grind out results, which says draw to me.
Yep, I couldn't agree more, Paul.
There is a game on Sunday at 1:30. It's probably going to be announced to be live on Sky by sitting behind some sort of red button behind some athletics game or something stupid like that. Probably on the iFollow thing.
No, that will be after the NBA because they've got the rights to the NBA now.
Have they really?
Yes,
great.
lovely.
Fantastic. Wigan at home to Leeds.
Go Lakers.
I actually think this is one of the better games of the weekend because I think there's 2 teams that both attack. Wigan don't know how to play. They don't know how to defend, so they're going to attack Leeds.
But their home form is amazing.
It's good, yeah.
Majestic.
They attack teams. That's the thing. They really get going. But Leeds are better at doing that than probably Wigan are because Leeds do exactly the same. They attack teams right early on. They pass, they move, really quick play. The only thing about Wigan is they have struggled to score goals. They haven't struggled to let them in. This game could be high scoring.
I think Wigan are going to get them. I honestly think we're going to win. There are only 2 teams in the Championship who have not lost at home this season. We're going to win. Do you know who the other one is? Without cheating and looking at my little bit of paper in front of me.
It's going to be someone rubbish.
No, Birmingham. Only Birmingham and Wigan have not lost at home this season. And no team has gone unbeaten away from home. 2 teams have won.
I am going to go for a Leeds win.
No, you're wrong. I'm not just
opinions.
No, that is, and yours happens to be wrong. I think
It's my
Wigan,
line.
If bang bang, if bang bang bum bum even, if Wigan score first, they'll win. If Leeds score first, they'll win. Simple as that.
Easy.
If no one scores first, it'll be a draw.
And then am I right in thinking we have an international break after that?
God
I'm
knows.
pretty
Mate.
certain we do. So that concludes the Championship Talk podcast. Thank you if you've listened to it all in its entirety.
Well, that includes this episode, not concludes the whole podcast.
Nah, it's this episode. I hope we've lightened the mood significantly. We'd, as always, like you to follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Championship TA1, where we have been fairly active. Thank you for listening. Thank you if you have left us a review on iTunes. That is predominantly where most people are downloading us. So thank you if you have. You can also now catch us on Spotify, which again is it's just fantastic to see us on Spotify. So thank you everyone for listening. That's a good evening from me.
Just before I say goodbye, Paul, again, we'd like to say a big part of we're a big part of the football and family. Well, as part of the big football and family, I can't get my words out because this is a serious issue for once. Our final thoughts are going to be with Leicester City and in memory of those who lost their lives on Saturday evening.
Absolutely. That's a good evening from me.
And that's a good evening from me.
Have a good evening, everybody.